We had Steve Smith's game at Edgbaston, which Australia won. We had the drama of Lords, where Jofra Archer burst onto the scene. We have seen the most unbelievable finish I've ever witnessed live in a Test match, with Ben Stokes, 135 not out, steering England to victory. They chased down those runs, 362 for 9. England win by 1 wicket. And I'm hearing, actually, Steve, I don't know if you know this, that from fans on the ground at the Spurs-Newcastle game, that all around the concourses at the Spurs Stadium, they have been watching and hopefully listening as well on TMS to that amazing hour of drama.
Oh my word, I am shaking. Ellie, it's not just the fans at that game. Micah Richards, how long ago were you told you could go home?
Yeah, I was supposed to go an hour ago, but I was just drawn in. Couldn't believe it. Unbelievable that was.
And Ellie, wait till you hear this. Till you hear this. Micah, if you hadn't been here today, where would you have been?
At Headingley.
Micah, I thought I heard you say earlier on that you were into one-day cricket, you're into the World Cup, but Test cricket, not so much.
Not for me. I am now. I know that for sure.
Oh my goodness. Ellie, thank you so much. What an incredible spectacle at Headingley. And Micah, thank you. You can go now.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Conor McNamara, follow that.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to White Hart Lane, Tottenham Stadium. We are just underway in this 4:30 kickoff. I think most people in here have been watching that drama for the cricket on their phones and their iPads in the build-up to the game. Great thing about modern stadiums, everyone's on the Wi-Fi and it works for everyone. But now this is Tottenham against Newcastle United. It is Mauricio Pochettino's 500th game as manager in all competitions in his career. Interestingly, though, if you take out the big 6, against no side has he lost more Premier League matches than he has against Newcastle. We're looking for their first win under Steve Bruce. We'll give you a full rundown of the teams in just a moment. Kyle Walker-Peters plays a 1-2 here with Sissoko. Joe Linton is trying to put pressure on him. Tottenham will gracefully glide through midfield with Lamela. Spurs who've started this game playing from left to right as we look down there. Traditional white shirts. Newcastle in their change strip, which is bright luminous orange. And here is Son straight back into the action, having been suspended for the opening 2 games of the season, but he can't pick it up on the edge of the Newcastle penalty area. And with Almiron trying to break away, across comes Harry Winks and puts it out for a throw. Jermaine Genius is alongside me, was enjoying the closing stages of the cricket there, Jermaine.
Yeah, I'm struggling to get myself back into the room, to be honest with you, Conor, because it was absolutely sensational from Ben Stokes, sort of orders witness there. But coming back to this game, I mean, obviously Steve Bruce under a lot of pressure coming into this particular fixture. He needs a performance from his players.
Almiron tries to break into the penalty area on the right-hand side. We welcome listeners tuning our way from right around the world via the BBC's World Service to North London in the sunshine. Something of a heatwave in the capital this weekend. Newcastle in rather beach attire, actually. They look like lifeguards or something down there in the bright luminous orange. And they've got possession. Tottenham looking to continue their unbeaten start to the new season. Newcastle have lost 2 out of 2 as in slides Fabian Schär just inside his own penalty area, and he puts it out for a Tottenham throw on the far side.
Yeah, it was poor from Sean Longstaff in midfield. He thought he had a lot of time on the ball, and you never do when you have players like Sissoko lurking around. He didn't get on the half turn, he didn't see him. Sissoko came, nicked it off him. He should have played a better ball into Son.
Tottenham throw taken by Danny Rose to Harry Winks in the midfield. Tottenham retreat to the halfway line to hold on to possession. Lloris, the goalkeeper, back for Walker-Peters, Alderweireld, Sanchez and Rose. In midfield, Winks and Sissoko, the central 2. Then there's a 3, Lamela, Lucas Moura and Son. No Ericsson today, he's on the bench. Harry Kane, 2 goals in his 2 Premier League appearances so far this season, is the striker up front as Walker-Peters tries to send it forward and Matt Ritchie closes him down. The Newcastle team, Dubravka in goal. 3 central defenders, Schär, Lascelles and Dummett. The wing-backs are Emil Kraft and Matt Ritchie. In the middle of the park, Isaac Hayden with Sean Longstaff. Shelby's on the bench today. Almiron and Alan Saint-Maximin in support of Joe Linton. Saint-Maximin, who didn't travel to Norwich last weekend due to injury, but he's in today for his first Newcastle start. Alderweireld has possession. Bright, luminous, yellow boots on the halfway line for Tottenham. Rolls it to his right-hand side. Kyle Walker-Peters, who's really moved up the pecking order in recent weeks since Kieran Trippier's departure to Atletico Madrid. And now here comes Davison Sanchez, and Tottenham up to come down the left-hand side. Danny Rose, who started all 3 Premier League games now this season. Joelinton puts pressure on Davison Sanchez, turns and gives it back to Alderweireld. Tottenham dominating possession here in the early stages at home. Ball played forward towards Sissoko, who'd made a dart. Alain Saint-Maximin wins it back in the midfield here. Calmly rolls it to Dummett. Back into Saint-Maximin. Here he goes, tumbling over, but releasing the pass to Joelinton. Isaac Hayden tried to shuffle it out to Kraft, who will scamper after that, but it took a deflection away from him, and Danny Rose puts it out for the throw. Jermaine.
Yeah, it's good, confident play from Newcastle there. They was under a lot of pressure. The midfield was pressing in from Tottenham, and it was about them trying to beat that first press. They managed to do that, and as you said, Kraft was really motoring down that right-hand side, but got stopped in his tracks by Danny Rose. You can tell that that's going to be how they want to play this game. They're going to play very defensive and try and use Joelinton and Saint-Maximin to play on the counter-attack, and it's just about, I suppose, how much of that pressure they can soak up to be able to play that way.
It's going to be interesting to see quite what Newcastle have got in Alain Saint-Maximin. Played under Patrick Vieira at Nice last season. Vieira says he doesn't work too hard. He's too interested in the celebrity lifestyle. Tottenham win their first corner of the game. Lucas Moura putting pressure on Matt Ritchie, and that goes out for the corner. Let's go quickly to Molineux. Underway, Wolves against Burnley. Robin Gowan.
Goalless inside the first 5 minutes here, and Ruben Neves went for a carbon copy of his spectacular goal against Manchester United just a few minutes ago. Chested it down for himself on the volley, wouldn't quite dip enough on this occasion. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 0.
Tottenham have got their corner. Lamela to take, both hands in his head as the signal, in swinging and headed away, out and away for another corner off Joelinton, the £40 million signing from Hoffenheim. We'll go for an update at Celtic in a moment. Let's see what Spurs do with this repeated corner. Again, both hands on the top of his head is the signal from Eric Lamela. It's either that or he's got a scratchy head. Here it comes into the middle, headed away by Joelinton once again. Tottenham forced to retreat. Good work by Walker-Peters. And now Lamela gets it back on the right-hand side. Here's the Argentinian, grooving infield, off the right wing. Turns back at himself. Son is in support. Tottenham give it back to Walker-Peters. Good pressure from Alain Saint-Maximin. And Walker-Peters shuffles it back into his own half. And back to Toby Alderweireld. So to Celtic Park, Celtic against Hearts, 3 o'clock kickoff. This is Ian Turner.
We have 10 minutes left. Celtic 3, Hearts 0, and Hearts have just missed a penalty. But since last you were here, Callum McGregor sent in a 25-yard screamer right into the corner, giving Joe Pereira no chance. And then 5 minutes later, a ball in from Christopher Ayer was turned home by Bayu for his second of the match. Hearts have just missed a penalty, but scored on the rebound. So it's now Celtic 3, Hearts 1.
Thanks, Ian. Very warm here inside Tottenham Stadium. Kyle Walker-Peters tries to scamper forward. He is offside. Free kick to Newcastle. Much been made of this wonderful stadium, Jermaine, and listeners are probably sick of hearing how nice it is. Do you think the design of it, there isn't a breath of fresh air in here? Is this going to be very warm on a hot day today down on the pitch?
I think it's just hot everywhere, to be honest with you, Con. I don't think the design of this stadium is having any impact at all in terms of making it hotter. If anything, it's made it a bit cooler with a nice big bit of shade it's cast onto the football pitch for the players to play in. But it is tough conditions, and it will have an impact in the game. You'll have slow moments where this game really, I suppose, dies down a little bit, and then times when it speeds up, and that's all about the players managing themselves down there. I think it's important for Spurs to keep the tempo high. So I think the game being slow really suits Newcastle in the way that they're trying to play. This is 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 0. Earlier on today we brought you Manchester City's victory at Bournemouth. Here is Harry Winks, who looks so at home now in the centre of the Tottenham midfield. Still just 23 years of age. Lamela under pressure from Saint-Maximin again. Manages to shrug him off. From 20 yards inside the Newcastle half, he gives it out to Danny Rose on the left. Ear-splittingly loud in here as Son attacks the penalty area. Good challenge though from Fabian Schär, and that goes out for a Tottenham throw on the far side. Yeah, they're going to have big jobs today, Fabian Schär and Dummett, just on either side of Jamal Lascelles, because it's where Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son, they're trying to operate. They want to make runs in between Dummett and Lascelles, and obviously Schär and Lascelles, so they've got to be aware as to when and how far they come over in each time, because those are the points which Spurs will try to exploit. This is Newcastle's first visit to this stadium. Danny Rose
spirals a ball down the left wing. It very nearly picks out Son. Cher across again, no nonsense defending, puts it out for a throw-in. Newcastle actually did win their last 3 Premier League visits to the old White Hart Lane Stadium. They lost their 2 visits to Wembley during Tottenham's sojourn there. Here is Davison Sanchez, back to Alderweireld, who's the deepest lying Tottenham midfielder, and he's 10 yards inside the Newcastle half. Walker-Peters on the right-hand side with the pink cerise boots. Saint-Maximin glides over towards him to apply pressure. Walker-Peters turns, rolls it back to the 2 central defenders. Alderweireld onto Sanchez, good ball into Son, but very good interception by Cher. And now Almiron will try and set Newcastle away in a counter-attack, but excellent work from Son, applying pressure with the help of Lamela, and Newcastle give it away cheaply.
They need runners. I'm looking at Steve Bruce now. He's got his arm pointed in the air, but pointing to the left-hand side, heading towards Spurs goals. He knows if they pop it around, that's great, but somebody has to set off and make a run for a longer passing behind Spurs defence, and they didn't have that.
Here is Son inside the Newcastle half. Sends a direct ball towards the edge of the D. Lamela took it, looked to be fouled by Hayden. Referee, who's Mike Dean, was very close to that and waved play on. He said it was a good challenge. But now in the aftermath, a yellow card has been shown to Harry Winks. So that was a tackle just after the challenge on Lamela. Harry Winks came in with his own almost retaliation tackle, and he's gone in the referee's notebook for that. Isaac Hayden's challenge on Lamela was deemed to be fair.
Yeah, it was silly from Harry Winks, really. He was just, I think he was worried about the counter-attack, and he decided to pull his shirt just recklessly. But you don't need that 10 minutes into the game, being on a yellow card that early on for something really that didn't seem that dangerous at the time.
That's only Tottenham's 2nd yellow card of the new season. 10 minutes in, Newcastle free kick. Cher plays it cross-field, controlled on the instep by Matt Ritchie. Back to the halfway line to Dummett. And then he's closed down by Lucas Moura. The high press from Tottenham, very evident. And 2 Tottenham players collided into each other there. That was Lucas Moura and Sissoko tripping each other up. Ball goes out of play for a Newcastle throw. That was a bizarre coming together of the 2 teammates. Free kick for Tottenham, foul on Almiron. This is 10 yards inside the Tottenham half. Free kick for Newcastle. The left-hand side of the pitch as they come forward. Almiron stands and just rubs the base of his back as he trots back into position. Still no goals for Newcastle. Still to provide an assist, the man who cost £21 million in January. He promises a lot, but he's not delivered much yet. The Paraguayan. Ritchie takes the free kick quickly in front of Alan Saint-Maximin. Gets to it. Oh, the byline, and a terrible touch. That just came straight off his shin guard, even though it was on the ground. He stumbled as he tried to control it. Disappointing for Newcastle. But I feel that kind of sums up Alan Saint-Maximin. He was clever idea, quick thinking to get there, but then it was almost too quick and he couldn't control it.
Yeah, I think between himself and Matt Ritchie, there was, it was well worked. I think the run that he's made in behind's a good one. Look, it happens, Connor. I think he's probably took his mind off the ball and thinking who's in the box for him to cross it to. Got there a little bit too quick and ended up kicking it out of play. But some good early signs from Newcastle. They look rigid, they look solid, tough to break down. It's just how they do that other side of the game, but that was well worked from Matt Ritchie and Saint-Maximin.
Yeah, it's a change of formation today from Newcastle from their opening 2 games. More on that in a moment. Joe Linton plays it out to the right hand side. Kraft with the delivery into the middle. Davison Sanchez on the edge of the Tottenham penalty area, clear it away. Tottenham get it down on the deck with Lamela into Harry Winks. And Tottenham will look to turn defence into attack. 0-0 here between Tottenham and Newcastle. There's a goal at Wolves. Robin Cowan.
I'll give you 3 guesses who has scored this goal. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 1. A screamer from Ashley Barnes. He is on fire. The ball fell kindly to him. He chested it down on the half volley. He has leathered it past the goalkeeper Rui Patricio. What form this man is in. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 1.
Thanks very much, Robin. Yes, only Sadio Mane and Sergio Aguero have scored more Premier League goals in 2019 than Ashley Barnes. Will be regularly back with Robin Cowan at Molineux as the afternoon progresses. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 0 here. If you missed the drama earlier, 1-1 now in the Ashes. Next one at Old Trafford in 10 days' time. Jofra Archer's been busy on Twitter. He says, this is by far the most intense game I've seen in my life. And plenty of reaction to the Ashes coming up at 5 Live throughout the rest of the day, and I'm sure there'll be much more of that during half-time with Steve Crossman back in the studio. Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3. was the early kick-off in the Premier League. Here is Lucas Moura midway inside the Newcastle half. Gives it up to Harry Kane, who's actually had a quiet start to the game. We've hardly mentioned his name in the opening quarter of an hour here. Sissoko plays a 40-yard crossfield ball right onto the chest of Danny Rose. Stumbled as he collected it, but held onto possession. And then down goes Cher under a challenge from Lamela. Not sure about that one, but the referee says free kick to Newcastle.
No, I do think it was a free kick to Newcastle. I think as he was making his run, Lamela just stuck his leg out and ended up fouling. I don't know whether there's an issue on the pitch here. It looks like Saint-Maximin. I see him pull up when he went for that free kick, that he ended up running out of play. Maybe a hamstring, but I think they're just warming up Kushinazu by the looks of it. Yeah,
he wasn't involved against Norwich last weekend because he was nursing a hamstring strain. When he made that run and the miscontrol, in the aftermath, he immediately felt the back of his upper leg. Yeah. And I kind of felt it's one of those, he's made a mistake, he's just trying to blame it on the injury, but now he is down and he clearly does have a problem.
That's really nice.
I'm like that, Jermaine, you know. I thought it, but I didn't say it. That's why I'm nice.
His hamstring and you think he's having a laugh? Poor guy.
So Newcastle forced into an early change here, which is not ideal for Steve Bruce. Christian Atsu is about to come on in his place for his first appearance of the season, and yeah, it's hard not to feel sympathetic for Alan Saint-Maximin because he does look visibly upset down there. He wants to continue, but I don't think he can.
On the game though, Conor, one of the big things I'm already seeing from Tottenham, which is a little bit of a concern, is they've almost fell into that similar trap that they fell into against Aston Villa in the first half, where Son and Lucas Moura are getting very narrow around Harry Kane. I think Harry Kane's only had 2 touches of the ball and we're like 15 minutes into the game. He needs to get himself, whether he comes short and allows Lucas Moura, there needs to be more rotation, I feel, at times between themselves, because they get really narrow, and if you add Lamela to that, who's in the hole, it becomes really easy for a defensive 3 or 5 to mark. Got to stretch them out, get Danny Rose pushed on, get Kyle Walker-Peters pushed on, and start asking a few questions. At the minute, Newcastle are really comfortable.
Yeah, 16 minutes on the clock. Harry Kane has had exactly 2 touches of the ball. Saint-Maximin is hobbling over to the touchline, and Christian Atsu is about to come on. Former Chelsea player, Everton at one stage, 1 goal last season for Newcastle, no assists. He comes on now and is given his first chance of this new campaign, but been a difficult start for Steve Bruce, a job that he's waited for his whole life, if you like. He's thrilled to have it, but it's been such a difficult start, and now one of his new signings has picked up an injury. So play will resume with a free kick to Newcastle just outside their penalty area. Martin Dubravka takes it long into the Tottenham half. Davison Sanchez wins the header. Almiron picks it up briefly, can't hold on to possession though. Does well to close down Danny Rose as he looks to clear it away. Son gets it under his control, back to Rose again. Joelinton's trying to pin Tottenham back, but they're very comfortable on the ball. They'll work their way out of trouble here. Walker-Peters still inside his own penalty area, clears it long up to Lucas Moura. Nice little Cruyff turn from Lucas Moura near the halfway line. Cher comes in and challenges him. Cher's had a good start to the game. Longstaff on the halfway line for Newcastle, veering from a central position out to the right wing. Danny Rose, superb. I think that was a nutmeg on Longstaff. Infield now to Lamela. Tottenham look crisp in their passing. They look sharp here. Play on, says the referee, despite an obvious foul on Lamela by Hayden. Newcastle get it back again. Atsu's first touch. Back to Ritchie. He's fouled by Son. And that's going to be a free kick to Newcastle. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 0. Jermaine Chinas.
I was just looking at that challenge in the middle of the park between Hayden and Lamela. Lamela needs to be careful. As he landed, he looked like he could have possibly just thrown a stray elbow. Doesn't seem to have been looked at or picked up by anybody. I'll have to see it again myself, but it didn't. There was no complaints from Hayden, but he was definitely not happy with the challenge that Hayden put in on him, and he seemed to react.
Tottenham hoping to win at home, having beaten Aston Villa in their first home game of the season. I was looking up last night, actually. You've got to go back 6 years for the last time Tottenham won their first 2 home games of a campaign. And when you consider that, you know, the last 4 seasons they've always finished in the top 4, they finished the season very well. August, there used to be that thing when Harry Kane wouldn't score goals in August. Slow starts have really troubled Tottenham in recent seasons, and that's where they'll be extra keen to get the home win here today. And Tottenham have got a huge North London derby away at Arsenal next Sunday. Winks out towards Rose. It wasn't a great pass, but Rose slid and got there ahead of Almiron. got it safely back to Harry Winks.
It's all very static again. Just looking at that front three, there's nothing happening. You know, nobody's kind of faking to make runs in behind, nobody's stretching the pitch. It's all very, I know it's hot down there, but they need to make them move better.
This stretches it a bit. Son out to Rose. It's a wild cross from the left-hand side. It flashes over everyone. Lucas Moura runs out to make sure it doesn't go for a throw. Walker-Peters into Lamela, into the penalty area, tried to return it to Walker-Peters. It was a good idea, not quite the execution he was looking for. It was very congested. That was perfect or nothing, and it wasn't perfect, and Newcastle were able to get it away. Almost 20 minutes played. Harry Winks sent to circle for Tottenham. Blue boots. Gives it low to the feet of Lamela, playing in the sort of number 10 role at the moment. He's seen a lot of the ball in the early stages. Now Son gets involved. Back to Sissoko. Walker-Peters on the right-hand side. Comes around Atsu. Low ball back into Winks again. Central position, middle of the midfield. His fortune, the ball came back to him the second time, and he feeds it out to Danny Rose on the left-hand side. Lamela pops up again. Short ball back to Danny Rose. Cross from the left, too close to Lascelles, and Newcastle's captain is able to clear it safely away. Almiron hustles for it, gathers possession, but has fouled Danny Rose in doing so. Free kick to Tottenham, hence the big cheer. Tottenham want to get on with it quickly. Sissoko to the feet of Lucas Moura. It's a good first touch, and here's Son in the penalty area. Down he goes. Good tackle. Good tackle from Scher. Tottenham fans are up in arms. They think it might be a penalty. VAR will be looking at this, I'm sure, in the background. My initial instinct was good tackle, and then he got the ball. Jermaine Giudice, what was your view?
I mean, I'm just looking at the angle that he's come from, and it's going to have to be a very, very good tackle for him to got the ball before he hit the man. In my opinion, if he's took out Son before and got the ball, that's a penalty. So it'd be interesting to see the replay. From here, it felt like a penalty, I have to say, but Mike Dean's right there. Sometimes you hear things and he's much closer to the action.
No, I agree with you. To be a good tackle, it had to be a perfect tackle. There was no margin for error.
Because he was on the wrong side.
Yeah, but and again, it's, you know, it's first view and we're a long way away, but I felt he got the ball. But that was the first time that Tottenham looked dangerous around the penalty area. Here they come again. Walker-Peters down the right-hand side, heads it infield. Ritchie's complaining about something. Tottenham have possession. Lucas Moura crossing position on the right-hand side. Gives it back to Sissoko. Now infield to Lamela. 15 yards outside the penalty area. Short to the feet of Harry Kane. Back to Sissoko and now Winks. Tottenham fans beginning to feel their time are waking up here a little bit. It's all over at Celtic Park. Ian Turner's got the full-time report.
Celtic 3, Hearts 1. Celtic have matched Rangers in winning their first 3 league games of the season. Bayo helped himself to a brace and Callum McGregor netted with a 25-yarder before Connor Washington struck the rebound after Fraser Forster had saved his penalty. Comfortable enough for Celtic. Celtic 3, Heart of Midlothian 1.
Thanks very much, Ian. Well, controversy here. Mike Dean has pointed to his ear and given a thumbs up, telling the players that, you know, VAR have looked at that penalty appeal and they're happy with it. We've seen the replay, Jermaine. You're not convinced.
I just don't think he gets the ball. The first challenge that I think Scher makes, he slides in, he makes contact with Son first. Son goes down, and while Scher's still on the floor, he then makes contact with the ball. I think the initial contact is a penalty. Again, you know, it's going to have teething issues, I think, VAR, because again, they'll look at that as a subjective decision. That, you know, there's a referee back at Stockley Park saying I don't think it is, and I'm here saying that looked like a penalty. So these are the issues we're going to have. And
people are still saying you only get involved if it's a clear and obvious error. Do you think they've maybe said, well, look, hang on, here comes Longstaff into the penalty area, good shot over the top, finger tipped away by Lloris on the way through. So a penalty appeal for Tottenham at one end, and now Newcastle have just had their best chance. Longstaff surging into the box, plenty of power on the shot. I think it was going over anyway, but the goalkeeper had to be sure. I mean, maybe it wasn't.
No, I don't think it is.
Lloris touching it over the crossbar. Good save.
It's a great save. It really is. First time really Newcastle managed to make something. It was just a bit of a nothing ball, really. Just up to the top of the pitch. Joel Linton made something of it, and Spurs were just dragged all over the place. And the strike from Longstaff in the end, just inside the 18-yard box, was pure. It's a great save from Lloris over the ball.
We'll go to Wolves in just a moment. Don't want to miss anything here. Corner to Newcastle. Ritchie rolls it short into the midfield to Atsu. Hayden gets it, but it's a sort of rehearsed move that's gone wrong for Newcastle. They hold on to possession, but they're back on the halfway line. Kraft, on his second appearance for Newcastle, plays it forward. Out towards Ritchie, who had taken that corner, but he can't control. And Lucas Moura in the sunshine will break away up to the halfway line. Plays a 1-2 at Lamela. Newcastle looks stretched here. Harry Kane bearing down to the penalty area. Goes around Kraft easily. Rolls it in low, and Lascelles slides it out for a corner. Let's go to Wolves and Robin Cowan.
It's still Wolves 0, Burnley 1, but Burnley so close to doubling their lead. Ben Mee's towering header off the bar. It rolled down the chest of Bennett, and it was clawed off the line by the Wolves goalkeeper Rui Patricio. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 1.
Thanks very much. On a 0-0 here. Talking points already at Tottenham Stadium. Corner to Tottenham now, which Lamela has gone across to place the ball. Alderweireld is forward. Davison Sanchez is forward. The two fullbacks are lurking on the edge of the penalty area. Tottenham with a very high line here. Sissoko is the deepest line player, and he's within 10 yards of the penalty area. Here comes the corner delivery. Too close to the goalkeeper. Dubravka, unopposed, is able to pick it up. He bowls it out low to Almiron, who wants to take on Walker Peters in a race here. He'll beat him, but he won't beat Sissoko to it. Good play from Tottenham, and they get it back. The game is livened up nicely, Jimmy.
Yeah, we've had a couple of incidents where it's got kind of end-to-end and stretch. I don't think that suits Newcastle at all. We've seen that, yes, after they got their opportunity, it was so easy for Spurs to go down the other end. Harry Kane on the left-hand side, going by Shea like he wasn't there, and nearly creating an opportunity for Tottenham. But Newcastle just need to keep it steady, keep this shape as they have done, and keep frustrating Tottenham, because they've only really had that one opportunity where I think it was a penalty that wasn't given by Mike Dean. Apart from that, they've been pretty comfortable, Newcastle.
That's the voice of Jermaine Genius, who's played for both of these clubs in the past. 0-0, 25 minutes played, 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Harry Kane picks up possession, plays in across looking for Lucas Moura, defended by Dummett. Cushioned header down for Matt Ritchie, and Newcastle will play it away. Tottenham's danger is increasing all the time. They're looking more and more potent. Longstaff passes it on to Atsu on the halfway line for Newcastle. Atsu does well to hold on to it under pressure from Lamela. Lamela's really fired up here. He's charging after everything.
They're doing really well, Tottenham, when they don't kind of have the ball in that kind of first 5-second phase. When they lose it, they're really getting after it, and you're right, Lamela seems to be at the forefront of that.
Newcastle in possession. Paul Dummett onto Ritchie on the left wing. Infield to Christian Atsu. If you're joining our coverage late here, he's come on for the injured Alan Saint-Maximin. Here's Joe Linton. This is a chance. Left-footed. His first goal for Newcastle. The £40 million Brazilian puts Newcastle United in front to Tottenham. Their fans go delirious on the far side. He took that well, but not the best Tottenham defending you've ever seen. Spurs 0, Newcastle 1.
I honestly don't know what's going through Davinson Sanchez's head here. Not at any stage does he open up his body to see where Joe Linton is. He's in the middle of the 18-yard box, free as a bird. And I think it's Atsu, the substitute, who comes on the pitch, goes, OK, I'll just lift that over your head. Finds him. The touch and the finish, though, from Joe Linton under pressure is absolutely sublime. Really is. Took it so well. From his right foot, he's got Danny Rose closing him down to try and block it. Hits it well underneath Lloris. Absolutely brilliant from Newcastle. Shocking defending, though, from Spurs' point of view. There's a couple of occasions, though, Connor, where the long ball to the at the top end of the pitch, there was all over the place, and then that there, I can't understand what Davinson Sanchez is looking at and where he thinks the actual danger is, because it's right behind him. It's actually ridiculous defending.
Tottenham would hardly put a foot wrong in the game in the 26 minutes we had played. One error punished by Newcastle. A first Premier League goal for Joe Linton, a man who has never scored more than 8 league goals in a season. When he played for Hoffenheim, he was a wide player. He's been given the number 9 shirt, and he finished that like a number 9. Christian Atsu's ball into his feet. First touch was good, but the room, he was given room in the penalty area. Tottenham will be furious when they look back at that.
They will be, but you can't take anything away from Joe Linton. And sometimes when you have more time to think, you lose your concentration, and he definitely didn't do that. The touch had to be absolutely spot on. He got it onto his left foot and was confident enough just to get a good strike on it underneath Lloris. Send the Geordies wild.
This gives us something of a story here. Tottenham at home, trailing to Newcastle, who've had a misery-filled start to the season. I think the bookies had Newcastle 11-1 today to win. But this is why we show up. You can never take anything for granted in the Premier League. And Newcastle, who started the day second bottom, only Watford below them in the Premier League table, and here they are leading Newcastle. Atsu's ball into Joe Linton, 1-0.
It is an issue that Spurs need to address, I think. They don't start games well. You know, that whole thing of getting an early goal, it's gone out of the window, really. They don't seem to be able to, especially against Villa at the start of the season. This game in particular, I think at the back end of last season, there was games like Brighton, Crystal Palace, just long periods where they're getting heavily frustrated by these teams that they should be dominating and getting that early goal, which it changes the dynamic. It makes the game a lot easier.
Here they go again, Newcastle. Joe Linton putting pressure on Davison Sanchez, who just about got it away there. Tottenham clear up to the halfway line. Jamal Lascelles heads it out for a throw. Well, that will just be a shot in the arm for Steve Bruce, who said nothing really to celebrate. They've only scored one goal before today. That was a complete consolation goal when 3-0 down at Norwich. This is the first time this campaign that Newcastle have taken the lead in a game. First time since he's become the coach.
Well, what I really like about Steve Bruce, though, he's just kept his head. During everything that's been going on, he knows what Newcastle United has been like over the last few years. The cloud that's been over the club. He's remained professional, and from what I'm seeing, he's got a group of players that want to play football for him, and that's all that these Newcastle fans are asking. A bit of effort and some quality, and I think for the best part of 25 minutes in this game, they've shown that.
Half an hour now played. Kane tries to control, Lascelles clears it away. I mentioned that stat earlier about last 6 seasons Tottenham haven't won their first 2 home games in a row. Is it about to happen again? Is the slow start going to haunt them? And the standards being set by Liverpool and Man City. Tottenham can't afford to be playing catch-up. This is Son in the penalty area. Great turn to get it to Danny Rose. Still inside the box, left-hand side. Back now to Harry Winks. In towards Kane. Headed away by Dummett. Good diving header in defence. Oh, but then a messy clearance by Kraft. What's he doing there? And does he take down Danny Rose in the penalty area? Tottenham are making another big appeal for a spot kick. Danny Rose gets to his feet. What's he saying to Mike Dean? He's come across to say something. He runs into Kraft. And again, you can see why Tottenham are appealing. There is a collision between the two players of the pitch. Does Kraft stand his ground, or does Rose run into him?
I think Danny Rose runs into Kraft there, in all honesty, but I actually also think that what Danny Rose was saying, it might not have been intentional. So I think he ran up to Mike Dean afterwards, not appealing for a penalty, but to explain, I didn't dive.
Yes.
It wasn't intentional, so don't book me for diving.
I think you're bang on the money there. I think he said, look, I've run into him. I have gone down. It's not a dive. As Sissoko plays it to Lamela on the right-hand side. It's been a good game, this. Lively in North London in the heat and the sunshine, as Winks gives it out to the left-hand side to Danny Rose. Last week at Manchester City, he was his 200th appearance for Spurs. Ahead of him his son, making his first appearance in the campaign. Brilliant shuffler on the wing-back. Plays the ball into the middle. Walker-Peters is at the other side unmarked. He gives it back into the middle. Lucas Moura leaves it. Son! Volley on target. Saved by Dubravka. And Newcastle scramble it away.
Much better. Much better from Tottenham. But the only reason they was managed to create that, obviously it's a great bit of skill by Son, but there's some form of width. And his deliveries in the box, instead of trying to play this kind of like perfect football through the middle, get some width, get some balls in the box, and the ball in from Son was Son originally was spot on, and then the volley was a great save from Dubravka.
That was like peak Son there when he just did the little shuffle, the couple of step overs, got around Emil Kraft very easily, and then when it came back in again, I mean, still good technique, albeit off target. Maybe if it wasn't his very first appearance of the season, that could have been 1-1. Here comes Sissoko charging through the middle. Lucas Moura, more central. First touch went away from him. Newcastle clear. Ritchie on the left-hand side. Up to Almiron. To Atsu. Sliding in is Walker-Peters. The game being played at a very high tempo here. Winks through the middle of the midfield. Onto Lamela. Took that nicely. moved away from trouble and into space. He's got Son outside him. Lamela continues the run. Here's the cross. Lucas Moura denied by Dummett, who just headed it away in front of him. In again from Walker-Peters. Tottenham really laying a siege now.
Oh, that's different class from Dummett, though. Really was. We're talking inches.
In from Alderweireld this time. No one marking Lamela, but he won't control it. And he's pointing in front. He wanted to run onto that ball, not having to stay static for it. And Newcastle relieved to see it out for a throw. Well, there's been about 4 really good chances for Spurs in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they've come to life now. I think they realised there was nowhere near the standards that they've set themselves. There's a big high five going on between Dubravka and his back four, because after that ball in from Lamela, that was right on Lucas Moura's head, and Dummett just managed to get his head on it to get it clear. Great defending.
Super defending from Dummett. Newcastle still leading by a 1-0 here. Son in a battle with Kraft, coming out the better of him. Kraft is struggling here. Son into the penalty area. Some lovely touches there on the way through, and Cher eventually takes it off his toe, and Newcastle will clear it away. This is Almiron, 20 yards inside his own half, trying to bring Ritchie in. It's a high-risk ball. Oh, he gets through to Ritchie though, and now Longstaff, halfway line up to Christian Atsu. There's loads of room out on the right wing, and Atsu plays it in front of Emil Kraft, who'll run into that space for the visitors. Newcastle leading 1-0 here at Tottenham. Back to Cher on the halfway line. Newcastle have absorbed a lot of pressure in the last few minutes. Ritchie in space again on the left. Newcastle using the width of the pitch to good effect. The cross comes off Walker-Peters out for a corner.
You're right, Connor, there was acres of space down that right-hand side, but I just think that, again, taking temperatures into account, I think when Kraft picks up that ball, he's had a look around. They've had to defend for a large period of time there, and he's thought, let's just keep the ball for a bit, try and get our breath back before we go on the attack again.
Ritchie's throw into the penalty area to the goal scorer, Joe Linton. Now Atsu, just inside the penalty area, makes a move towards the byline. Walker-Peters challenges him. Corner to Newcastle, and while we wait for that, back to Molineux and Robin Cowan.
Still 1-0 Burnley lead here at Wolves, and Burnley have had another really good chance. Chris Wood, lovely quick feet, dribbling past the defence. A really good save by Rui Patricio. Burnley should be 3-0 up, to be honest. Instead, they lead by 1-0 against Wolves.
And Newcastle lead by 1-0 here at Spurs. Matt Ritchie to take the corner. Left-hand side as Newcastle come forward, dressed in orange. Decent delivery in, but cleared away, and then Hayden tries to hit it from outside the penalty area, and he's well charged down by Harry Winks. Here's a stat for you. The last 19 Premier League games that Steve Bruce has been a manager and his team have scored first, he's only lost one of them. So his teams know how to hold on to a lead, but that game he did lose was against Tottenham. Joe Linton has possession. Newcastle still on the attack here on the right-hand side. Good turn by the Brazilian. Then a step over into the penalty area. Turns back on Winks again. Almiron was offside. They're unlucky there. That must have been fractions. But the assistant on the far side raising the flag. Free kick to Tottenham.
Looking good, Joe Linton. The goal obviously giving him a lot of confidence, but he's getting on the ball. He's holding it up well. He's looking to kind of go by people, cause them problems.
6:06. With Robbie Savage and Emma Saunders after this live football on 5 Live. There could be a lot to discuss from Tottenham fans, who I'd imagine will have something to say about that Son penalty appeal while the game was still at 0-0 before Newcastle scored. And I'm sure it will be labelled a VAR conspiracy, sorry, not conspiracy, VAR controversy. However, I mean, it's worth saying that Mike Dean at the time said no penalty, and it was just that VAR backed him up. They didn't then intervene. But in the old days, it would have been no penalty. I mean, the referee at the time didn't think it was.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those ones where some refs give it and some don't. So obviously back with the VAR, they're thinking, well, it's not clear and obvious. You know, Mike Dean says no, and there's nothing in that for me that says that it 100% should be given. I mean, I thought it was a penalty, but I get their point.
Yeah, here is Matt Ritchie, left wing back for Newcastle, in this unusual position of having a lead to defend. Dummett clears away right-footed, straight down the middle. Joe Linton's got to jump here up against Davison Sanchez, so it comes off his shoulder. Tottenham do well. Walker-Peters, halfway line. Longstaff and Atsu putting pressure on him. He's going to lose it here. Well done, Christian Atsu, winning the ball for Newcastle. Walker-Peters tries to get back as a nibble at his ankle. Might have fouled him there. Referee was happy for play to continue. Winks gets it for Spurs. On now to Harry Kane in the centre circle. Pushes it in front of Lamela. This is the right wing for Tottenham. Kane's available to get outside him if he needs it. Lamela comes infield. Poor cross though, straight at Lascelles, who'll put it out for a Tottenham throw. And we've got 6 and a bit minutes of normal time to go until the break. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1 on 5 Live.
The fans just getting a little bit agitated there with Kyle Walker-Peters. Not 100% sure it was his fault. He was looking for options. Nobody was moving. Just dwelled on the ball for a little bit too long and got caught.
To stretch back to last season, Tottenham have only lost 1 of their last 10 Premier League home matches. Here is Son. He hits it low and he hits it off target. He actually had a bit of time there, Son. He played the shot early and it was several feet wide.
I mean, he has time, but again, even if you look at that attack, it is so narrow. You know, Son's on the edge of the box there. He's gone past a few. He's just on the left-hand side of the D. There isn't the opportunity to pass it wide to Danny Rose, as we just see Jose Mourinho, I think, in the crowd, just keeping an eye on things. And I think that's the problem that they're causing themselves at the minute. It was decent play. It was a little bit of luck involved as well to get the opportunity, but I think the fullbacks just need to be a bit more, take more risks.
Newcastle fans are taking off their shirts and billowing them in the air on the far side. Absolutely enjoying themselves in the London sunshine. Newcastle 1-0 up away at Spurs. There's a hold up here. Mike Dean is coming across to have a word with Danny Rose and Almiron. Not quite sure what that's all about there. Newcastle did win on their last league visit to the capital. They beat Fulham 4-0 in May. That was their biggest ever margin of victory in a Premier League game in London. Newcastle throw here, played by Kraft in towards Joe Linton, and he is kept under wraps by Davison Sanchez. Lloris, he's rolled it out low to Sissoko. That was high risk. Tottenham get away with it, but dangerous right in front of their own penalty area. Walker-Peters brings it over the halfway line. Half-time now 4 minutes away, plus the stoppages. Walker-Peters to Sissoko, back to Walker-Peters. They've got sort of bogged down on this right wing a lot. They come down the right wing, but they seem to have had more joy on the left. Why is that, Jermaine?
I just think the understanding between Danny Rose and Son is just better. It's as simple as that. I think obviously Walker-Peters into the side new. Lamela and Lucas Moura seem to be switching a lot more, whereas Son is holding his position with a bit more discipline. So they getting their movements worked out better, whereas Sissoko seems to be getting dragged out here more, and it's not as smooth.
The thing's not been as smooth. Worth reminding that Christian Eriksen not in the starting 11 today. He is on the bench. This is Sissoko, 15 yards inside the Newcastle half. Back to Davison Sanchez. Over to the far side from us. Tottenham's left as Danny Rose gives it short to Son. Back into the middle for Sissoko. Tottenham seeing a lot of the ball, keeping it moving. All this around the central third for now. Walker-Peters, right-hand side, cuts back again under pressure from Atsu. Atsu and Ritchie are very much doubling up on Walker-Peters and preventing him getting forward. This is Lucas Moura, though, through the middle, into Kane. Sliding in was Lascelles Diswell. And Hayden here should clear it away. Right-footed, bangs it straight down the field, giving possession back to Tottenham, but clearing the Newcastle lines. 3 minutes to the break. This is 5 Live for the BBC. Earlier on, great excitement at Headingley. The Ashes, it's now 1-1. More reaction to that coming up at half-time here on 5 Live. Harry Winks, middle of the midfield for Spurs. Plays it out to the right wing. Walker-Peters. Ritchie standing straight in front of him. Walker-Peters forced to retreat again, this time to Lamela. Central location now, trying to give it onto the feet of Son, but blocked away by Longstaff. Newcastle working hard into defence. They really want to hold this lead to the break. Lamela into the penalty area. Lascelles intercepts it. Longstaff hacks it away, and it really is an anywhere will do clearance. Kept in play by Walker-Peters on the right-hand side.
But Connor, how many times have we seen that, you know, Spurs players trying to force that pass, either through the midfield of Newcastle or, you know, through that defensive three? It's so tight in there.
It's so tight. We've got Kane, Moura, Son and Lamela all within right now 8 yards of each other.
Correct.
And then their respective Newcastle markers in there as well. It's like a little basketball court down there. Here is Rose, left-hand side, onto Lamela. Crossing position on the left. 3 defenders around him, though. Cher has done well. Tell you what, Newcastle have stepped this up several gears from their performance in their opening 2 games of the season. That said, Almiron has given it away here outside his own penalty area. Son onto Rose, low cross, straight at Longstaff, groans from the Tottenham fans.
That wasn't a bad ball from Danny Rose at all. I just don't think anybody was aware to it. They thought he was going to flash it across the edge of the 6-yard box, and he pulled it back towards the D. I think Harry Kane just caught on his heels a little bit. It might not have got there, but he didn't expect it either.
Sweltering hot at Tottenham Stadium, full house. Tottenham behind, though. I remember being here back end of last season when they lost to West Ham. It's been their only defeat at this new stadium so far, and now they've got to try and come from behind against Steve Bruce's Newcastle, looking for their first, not only win, their first points under the new coach. Here comes Harry Kane, left-hand side, gets within a few yards of the byline, well dealt with by Cher, and it's cleared away by Kraft up to Joe Linton, who's fouled by Davinson Sanchez, and Newcastle are doing well at frustrating Tottenham now.
He needs to somehow get that out of his game a little bit, Davinson Sanchez. It's almost just young, naive type of defending. The fact that every time anybody gets on the ball, he has to be that much of a rash and be all over them is, you know, he's an experienced player now. He's an international. He's played in a World Cup quarter-final. Sometimes his defending, it baffles me. It just seems a little bit too raw and not enough thinking.
Here's Almiron on the attack for Newcastle, 10 yards outside the Tottenham penalty area. Atu's looked really bright since coming on, his first appearance of the season. Ritchie up in support on the left, now they'll come infield. This is Longstaff, and over into space. Fabian Cher, 3 minutes being added on for stoppages at the end of the first half. Cher sends a crossfield ball again. Newcastle much more expansive than Tottenham in using the wings. Almiron, corner angle the penalty area, plays it in, hits the body of Sissoko and goes out by the corner flag. And that just for a moment there gave me a reminder of the Champions League final, that early penalty. Liverpool had a cross into the box that hit the upper body. For a moment there I thought it was going to happen again to Sissoko, but to be fair, his arms were not raised and it's gone out for a Newcastle corner. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1, stoppage time at the end of an entertaining, high-tempo first half. Tottenham will want to do better, though, in the second period as the cross comes in. Cher heads it over the top, goal kick to Tottenham. Lascelles felt he was being held on to there as the ball came in, but Mike Dean's not interested in the protests. He went to ground, Jamal Lascelles. Didn't look like there was much in it, to be fair. Tottenham have possession. Walker-Peters just over the halfway line. Short to Lamela. Pressure from Ritchie sends Lamela back. Here's Alderweireld to his left. Davinson Sanchez. Winks near the centre circle. Alderweireld again. Newcastle with 11 back behind the ball. Winks. Slow, deliberate build-up from Tottenham here. Lamela, who's come out to the right wing now, veers in field and gives the ball way back behind Davinson Sanchez. I'm sure you can hear the groans in the background.
In fairness, that's where Davinson Sanchez should be. He's the only player on the pitch and needs to have some depth to his game. The rest of the players can be pushed up.
Here is Danny Rose, left wing, plays the 1-2 at Son. This is better. Here's the cross into the middle, straight at Lascelles. Jamal Lascelles' clearance is straight to Sissoko. Tottenham remain on the attack. Son, low to the feet of Danny Rose. Back to Sissoko. Into the middle is Winks, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Tries to get around Hayden. Hayden holds him up. Tottenham still have possession. Now Harry Kane. Back out to Danny Rose on the left. 5 white jerseys in the middle. And Lamela was the closest to it as it came in, but Longstaff, it was Dummett who was on hand to clear it away.
Doing so well at that, Newcastle. They've dealt with everything that's come into the box. The only opportunity Spurs have had is when it's kind of had a lucky ricochet or it's bounced around, but any crosses that have come in, Dummett, Cher and Lascelles, been solid.
Yeah, Steve Bruce will be very pleased with this first half. Newcastle haven't had many chances. They took the one big one they got. Longstaff had another shot saved by Lloris. But other than that, it's been defending for Newcastle, and they've been organised and structured. And here comes Kane. Cher goes out to try and keep tabs on him. Kane's cross into the middle. Goalkeeper's out of position. Lucas Moura puts it wide. Dubravka came for it, didn't get there. Lucas Moura with the goal at his mercy, puts it wide, and there goes the whistle for half-time. Arguably Tottenham's biggest chance of the half was the very last kick before the break whistle.
Yeah, it was well worked from Harry Kane down the left-hand side, dinks it perfectly, and I don't know what Dubravka's doing. He comes out flapping. In fairness to Lucas Moura, he gets put under a lot of pressure from Atsu, just sticks it wide, but probably should have done better. But I would say that Newcastle, given their first half performance, just earned that little bit of luck.
Newcastle's new number 9 is up and running. First Premier League goal for Joelinton. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1 at half-time.
And we'll get more from Jermaine Genius in a moment after we've been to Molineux for the half-time there. Rob.
0, Burnley 1. Really impressive half from Burnley, who could be 3 goals to nil up, to be honest. 14 minutes in, it was Ashley Barnes with his 4th goal of the season to break the deadlock. A low drive right into the corner of the net, just out of the reach of Rui Patricio. Ben Mee could have doubled the lead. His header off the bar was cleared off the line, and Chris Wood drew an excellent save from Rui Patricio from close range. Wolves have been second best so far, but I'll just hold off before blaming their Europa League commitments. It was a feature of their season last time out, and we saw it here on Monday night against Manchester United. They do tend to grow stronger in the second half of games, so expecting a response from them after the break. But it is at half-time, Wolves 0, Burnley 1.
Already on 5 Live Premier League Sunday, we've had Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3. Back then to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Spurs 0, Newcastle 1. Jermaine, let's just talk about the goal first from Joelinton. That was not the finish of a man who cost £40 million and had struggled for his first 2 matches. It was so cool, it was almost slow motion. Oh, it seems like we've lost Jermaine Genius there for a second. We'll see if we can get him back in a while. But I tell you what, whilst we're waiting, let's go and get the news on 5 Live with Faye Rusco.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. Boris Johnson says the chances of a Brexit deal are touch and go, having previously said the odds of a no-deal Brexit were 1,000,000 to 1. Speaking to the BBC at the G7 summit in France, he said it all depends on our EU friends and partners. Police in Switzerland say 3 people, including a baby, have been killed in a plane crash. It came down around an hour and a half after takeoff in the Alps this morning. Earlier, 5 people were killed after a crash involving a helicopter and a light aircraft near Inca in Mallorca. A 69-year-old man's been stabbed to death in Southall in West London. A man in his 30s has been arrested on suspicion of murder and is in hospital under police guard, being treated for minor injuries. A 19-year-old man's died after becoming ill at Creamfields in Cheshire. Security staff at the 4-day dance festival spotted him looking unwell and took him to the medical tent. He later died in hospital. And it's been the hottest late August bank holiday weekend on record, with temperatures reaching 31.6 Celsius in West London. The Met Office confirmed the new temperature, which was set at Heathrow.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
A quick look even at the roads for you. The M55 westbound has now reopened in Lancashire. There was an accident between junction 3 and 4 at Blackpool and the entire carriageway was closed, but all lanes are now open, although queues remain. 2 lanes are closed on the M6 northbound in Warwickshire. There's been an accident between junctions 3 and 3A at the M6 toll. Traffic there is queuing. A lane's closed on both sides of the M54 in Staffordshire. That's for emergency repairs from junction 2 to 3 at Old Brighton. Very slow traffic there. In Buckinghamshire, a lane of the M1 northbound is closed. That's because of a breakdown from junction 14 at Milton Keynes to 15 at Northampton. Expect a queue and expect delays of around half an hour on the M25 in Kent. Very slow there because of an accident after junction 31 at Lakeside. Faye Rusco, 5 Live Travel. BBC 5 Live. The Sarah Brett Show.
Monday to Thursdays after the sport on 5 Live. Join me for late night discussion on all the big stories of the day.
Unfortunately, there is a lot of people that have a lack of trust in the government.
We'll also be joined by comedians, columnists and bloggers for their take of what's in the news.
Saying something online is the same as saying it in the street.
It should be dealt with. Social media platforms need to take responsibility.
Fascinating conversation and some quality wind down time.
The Sarah Brett Show.
Monday to Thursdays on BBC Radio 5 Live.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
Yeah, welcome back to 5 Live Premier League Sunday with me, Steve Crossman. So earlier today it finished Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 1 at half-time, and Tottenham Hotspur 0, Newcastle 1 at half-time in our commentary game. But I don't think there's any doubt where the big story is today. England have somehow won the third Ashes test to level the series. An absolutely unbelievable 135 from Ben Stokes has gotten them over the line. Before we come to you, Ellie Oldroyd, I've got some social media messages here.
Go on.
Jeffrey Boycott, I've seen some remarkable cricket moments in my life. That is the best I've seen in over 50 years. Ben Stokes saved the Ashes and gave a magical, inspirational innings, even better than his World Cup. Well done, ECB. Jofra Archer, this is by far the most intense game I've seen in my life. Simon Mann, BBC Test Match Special, mentioned this on the live text page. Have you seen what's happened to the Ashes Wikipedia page, Ellie?
Yes, I have. Somebody's got to it, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, they have. So if you go on now, if you just Google the Ashes, it says, the Ashes are a test match played between Australia and Ben Stokes.
It sums it up really, Steve, doesn't it? It has been the most extraordinary afternoon of Test cricket I've ever witnessed. It was one of the great ever Test match innings of all time from Ben Stokes. 135, and we all thought that England had blown it, really, when they collapsed from 245 for 4 to 286 for 9. But then 76 for that 10th wicket partnership, of which Jack Leach scored 1. Ben Stokes, his innings, 11 fours, 8 sixes, and he just ripped Australia apart. Our cricket correspondent Jonathan Agnew was here. He was calling those final moments. Ebony Rainford-Brent, former England player as well, with me. I mean, Agus, when Jeffrey Boycott says it's one of the greatest ever moments, you know it was. But for you, where does it stand?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I'm sort of digesting it, really, because it was over. England had lost. I'd done my BBC online report, along those lines, and they weren't going to win the game. And I don't know how you really start to describe Stokes' innings, because it was so calculating, and the decisions that he made were so clear, as opposed to the decisions that Australia made, the mistakes they made. And there was an awful umpiring mistake too in today. I mean, we really must mention that. It was an appalling error by the umpire, who's had a bad first Test match as well. You know, you can't deny it. Stokes should have been out LBW. But you need luck in cricket. You need luck in all sport. You need luck in life. And you know, the umpire gave it not out, and he shouldn't have done. But yeah, that would have just ruined the script in a way. So it's nice that it didn't. But it was so calculating the way that he hit the boundaries, how he treated the overs, where he hit the boundaries. I thought Tim Payne, it was a tremendous gamble to bring the off spinner on, a very brave gamble. He, of course, then fumbled a run out, which should have been run out by 2 yards. There was a very difficult catch dropped. I mean, all these ingredients in those last 20 minutes or so, all just added up to this extraordinary thing. I mean, also Stokes not being able to watch as Jack Leach was batting. And,
we'll hear later on Jack Leach. Jack Leach spoke to you and said
he put him off.
Thanks for that, Stokes. You've got no faith in my batting whatsoever.
He was just looking at the ground. He couldn't bring himself to watch. You know, all of those things. Dear old Jack Leach. I've interviewed him twice this summer, both times about his batting. So, I mean, there's something absurd about that. But for number 11, that's guts. Yeah. That is real guts to go out and do that.
Ebony, when did you start to believe? Because we were describing this all the way through, weren't we? Saying, it's not going to happen, but Ben Stokes, it's not going to it might happen.
Well, I have to be honest, and I'm not just putting it out there, but from this morning, I've been saying today was a day for an optimist to believe, because I always thought it was in their favour. And the reason I say that as well is because the overhead conditions were good. It was always a good batting track, and it was only really going to go wrong, in my opinion, if we made the mistake from having set the partnership and the platform. We then made 3 or 4 mistakes with the likes of Archer, Wokes, etc. Root. But what I would say is why Ben Stokes is such a fabulous player. He brought his one-day skills today. The execution of those shots when all fielders on the boundary, to me, he has gone up in one of the greatest cricketers of all time, with that ability to take a test match and turn it into a one-day innings.
Just quickly, Aggers, sports personality of the year?
He won the World Cup final, played a huge part in it. He's won this Test match. I'll say he's still got 2 tests to go.
Yeah, well, that's true. And let's not forget, Ebbs, we've got 2 more Test matches. It stands Australia 1, England 1, which we'd never have believed after 67 all out. After 67 all out, England won here at Headingley. 4th Test starts a week on Wednesday. Are England back in the Ashes?
They're very much back in the Ashes, and I think the momentum, the energy, everything they will take, I think they're going to be quite excited by Old Trafford.
Steve, we witnessed something really extraordinary, something incredibly special. You'll get more reaction from here at Headingley later on, and also on the TMS podcast. You can watch some of the highlights of today's amazing innings by Ben Stokes on the BBC Sport website right now. And we'll also replay on BBC Sounds. You'll be able to go to BBC Sounds and listen back to half an hour of just remarkable commentary from Aggers and the team as England pulled off one of the most unlikely wins of all time.
Ellie, I have to say I'm a former resident of Headingley.
Are you?
Yes, which is a very famous student town, but out of term, I'm not sure that some of those pubs, the Box, the Sky Rack, the Original Oak, they don't know what's coming their way, do they?
No, I suspect that people are there already, actually.
Yes.
I think they know now because most people have left this ground and there are going to be so many celebrations. But we've been staying in the Australian team hotel, or the same hotel as the Australians. And after day 2, when England were all out for 67, I thought, I don't want to go back to the hotel. I don't want to spend any time around Australians. But I think we might just have a drink in the bar tonight. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I think you might bump into them accidentally. Great stuff, Ellie. Thank you very much. We'll be back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium shortly. The British Championships, which are the trials for next month's Worlds in Doha, are taking place today in Birmingham. Mike Costello and Alison Kirbishley are there for us. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Steve. Well, Adam Jamili missed out yesterday on the 100 metres title by 0.04 of a second, and he made amends today in the last race of the championships, the 200 metres, winning in 20.08 seconds, a championship record, breaking the mark set by John Regis all of 32 years ago, and that into a strong headwind. A brilliant burst of acceleration in the home straight, Alison Kirbishley, and that will bolster his medal hopes for the World Championships in 5 weeks' time, less than that now.
Yeah, I mean, we can't lie. We were trying to concentrate on what was in front of us, but listening to the cricket in our ears. But Jamili definitely really made us look up, because I think after watching Miguel Francis, the Montserrat-born, obviously British colony, so he runs for Great Britain, and he looked so impressive. I just didn't see how Jamili, even with a blistering turn, was going to get close to him and Zarnell Hughes, but he really did put the whole race together and looked so impressive. And again, I just think that the headwind has I guess robbed the crowd and us of 2 British records here this weekend, because I think he would have got close to the British record, as did Dina yesterday in that phenomenal run in the 100 metres.
Other standout performances: Ben Williams winning the men's triple jump, 17 metres 27 centimetres, lifetime best, would have won in bronze at the last World Championships. And a surprise in the men's 1500 metres, Neil Gourley beating much better fancied rivals to take the title. Steve,
thank you very much, guys. So on 5 Live Premier League Sunday, I mean, the Ashes has certainly taken over with England's sensational victory. We've had Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3-2 for Sergio Aguero there. Wolverhampton Wanderers currently 1-0 down at home to Burnley at half-time, so we'll have updates of that game to come in the second half. Shortly we'll be back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for full second half commentary. Currently Spurs 0, Newcastle 1. After us at 6:30, 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Emma Saunders. And I guess the big talking point of the day might be yet to come from London.
Yes, well, first things first, Robbie. Cricket, what cricket?
Oh, 6 duck 6. Where's 6 duck 6 when you need it?
Get your calls in now. We are on air at 6:30 this evening. 08085 909 693 if you've got anything to say. Robbie, I'm well aware we've only got about 30 seconds to do this because there has been a cricket match apparently. So what's riled you up the most, eh?
I think Newcastle fans, if Steve Bruce gets a victory here today, it'll be a magnificent victory for him. Christian Eriksen on the bench for Spurs. Edison should have been a straight red. Got no idea why it was a yellow card. For me, it was a straight red. Great win for City. And Ben Stokes, wow, what an innings, best ever.
There we are, 08085 909 693. Yes, hats off to Ben Stokes. But this is a football phone-in, Steve.
All right, thank you very much, guys. 6:06 with Emma and Robbie. From 6:30, the teams are coming back out of the tunnel at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Jermaine Genius, it is easy to look at Tottenham, who are trailing again at half-time, like they were to Aston Villa, and say, well, the common thing there is no Christian Eriksen. Is it bigger than that or not?
Look, the players that they have on the pitch are more than capable of, filling the void that Christian Eriksen leaves. But they just need to step it up. I thought in the last 10 minutes they did that. Harry Kane was searching for the ball more. They were getting wide more. But I do think that when Christian Eriksen is on the pitch, he just finds certain pockets of space, and he has the ability to find a certain pass where you just move. You'll make that run knowing that Eriksen's going to find you. So, look, it's not as easy as just saying, look, get Eriksen on and this game will turn on its head. But it definitely goes a long way, I think, to helping Tottenham, because he's just that creative element that they're just lacking a little bit in midfield.
Well, Eriksen is still on the bench, but for how much longer? Second half commentary, Conor McNamara.
Thank you very much, Steve. We weren't expecting this scoreline at half-time. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1. Can Newcastle continue to be as organised and solid in the second half? Can Tottenham do better? Jermaine, we were just looking at the touch map, and Harry Kane, he had one touch in the penalty area, he was right out by the edge of the box. But you made the point to me, he needs an Eriksen-type player to find him.
Yeah, look, if you look at the two midfielders, you've got Harry Winks, who is very good at receiving the ball off the back four and dictating the tempo of the game and keeping things moving left to right, and Sissoko, who's a powerful runner. I just feel that there's a couple of players, naturally when Spurs have the ball. So when Alderweireld's got the ball, you make runs because he's got that great long range passing. And Christian Eriksen's another one. I just think Harry Kane just got a little bit frustrated and said, you know what, I'm just going to go looking for it on my own, which is why he wasn't really inside the box receiving the ball. No changes in personnel over half-time. Tottenham had 3 shots in the first half. That's the fewest they've had in a home Premier League match in almost a year. So Pochettino will want improvement. Son bathing down on the supporters on the far side now, but the pitch itself is in shade at Tottenham Stadium. Lamela has possession on the left, gives it back to Danny Rose. Reminder of the teams: with Lloris in goal for Tottenham, made one good save to deny Longstaff in the first half. Walker-Peters, Alderweireld, Sanchez and Rose are the back four. Winks and Sissoko in midfield. There's a strong tackle on the far side by Matt Ritchie. And the referee is reaching for his notebook, and that's going to be a booking for the former Bournemouth man. So Lamela, Lucas Moura and Son are the 3 attacking midfielders, and Harry Kane, the striker up front. For Newcastle, Dubravka the goalkeeper, Cher, Lascelles and Dummett the 3 central defenders, Emil Kraft and Matt Ritchie the wing-backs, Longstaff and Hayden in the middle of the midfield. Atsu came on for the injured Alain Saint-Maximin early. He's in support of Almiron and Joelinton, who's got his first Premier League goal, the Brazilian up front. Tottenham free kick, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Lamela standing over it. Right-hand side of the pitch as Tottenham come forward. They're playing right to left as we look down in this second half. Lamela waiting for the signal from Mike Dean that he can take it. There's the whistle, there's the chip, and there's the header away by Longstaff, and Newcastle survive again. It's a poor free kick from Lamela. It's got to be hit with more pace. He's got to just get that head in towards the far post.
Here he is, Harry Kane in the penalty area, no flag, but the whistle had blown for an earlier altercation. Time seemed to stand still for a moment. Kane shot saved by Dubravka anyway, but it wouldn't have counted. There had been a foul on Lascelles in the build-up.
That's an interesting one for me, because I think Lascelles is going down to head the ball. He's not jumping, it's not going, I don't think Lucas Moura's foot is actually that high. So, granted, his foot is near Lascelles' head, but who's actually the one that is creating the danger within the play? I think Lascelles going low. So I'm not sure that is a foul.
Yeah, it's a good point, that. I mean, when Lucas Moura's foot connects with Lascelles' head, his foot is lower than, say, Lucas Moura's shoulder, so yeah. Is that a high leg? Well, the referee deemed it to be dangerous play. Free kick has been given, otherwise Harry Kane would have been in. Martin probably relieved enough to see Dubravka make the save, so it sort of doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, I don't think he tries to miss ever, so
no.
I don't think it was going in.
This is Winks onto Walker-Peters, far side of the pitch from us. The right as Tottenham come forward, back into Alderweireld. Newcastle sitting deep at the moment. Alderweireld comes 10 yards into Newcastle territory. Walker-Peters again on the right-hand side. Now this is Son who's going to cross to the right wing. Cuts it back for Lucas Moura, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Winks gets involved, and Sissoko feels like Tottenham might have to be patient here. Comes to the left to Lamela. Plenty of orange shirts for Newcastle, blocking out the various avenues. Winks, 10 yards outside the box. To his right is Walker-Peters. gives it further out to the right-hand side to Son, stepping into the penalty area now, stepping back out again. Winks on the edge of the D. Sissoko, wasn't a great pass from Winks there. Joelinton was able to almost intercept. Tottenham hold on to possession. 1-0 to Newcastle here on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Walker-Peters to Sissoko. Winks central, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Now Tottenham will try the left. Danny Rose. Has been a long, slow, considered build-up this. Rose to the byline, closed down by Almiron, goes out for a Tottenham throw. No, for a Newcastle throw. Last touch came off Rose.
Yeah, it was quite frustrating that from Tottenham's point of view. They just, yes, they maintain possession of the ball, but never really looked that dangerous with it. They're moving it a little bit too slow, in my opinion. From the wide areas, Lamela is going far too narrow, far too soon when the ball's coming out towards his side. It's just not flowing, really, for Tottenham. It's going to take something scrappy or just a moment of brilliance to get them back in this game.
Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1. The goal by Joelinton after 27 minutes. If assists are of interest to you, maybe for fantasy football teams and the like, it was Christian Atsu who provided the assist. Not sure he'd have been in many people's teams, having not featured this season before today. Here comes Almiron out of defence for Newcastle. Pushes it in front of Christian Atsu, who's closed down by Alderweireld. Good defending from a Belgian. Tottenham trying to set the agenda here. Still trailing at home. Alderweireld pulls it back for Lamela here, midway through the Newcastle half. All left foot Lamela. To his right is Son, steadies, shoots, chance for Lamela, and away by Lascelles. Lascelles almost set it up for Lamela there. It hit Lascelles, he didn't clear it. In the penalty area, Lamela arriving. Newcastle much relieved that Lamela couldn't produce a shot at the end of all of that. Here comes Son, just outside the penalty area, right-hand side, into the box to Harry Kane, crowded out of it by defenders, and then there's a foul by Kane and a free kick to Newcastle. Harry Kane can't believe it.
And it's the 3 centre-halves again of Newcastle standing tall. It was a little bit scrappy. The shot from Heung-min Son is not a great one. It's blocked by Lascelles, but it's all about his centre-half partner, Fabian Schär, staying alive to the situation. He's not just sitting there waiting to see what happens. He knows Lamela's about to pull the trigger on that one, gets across and makes a brilliant block. Otherwise, that would have been 1-1.
Yeah, that is a goal-saving challenge from Fabian Schär. As Newcastle play it long down towards the Tottenham penalty area, and it's shepherded out for a goal kick by Alderweireld. So 7 minutes into the second half, and a very familiar pattern to the opening 45 minutes. Newcastle remaining strong at the back, Tottenham perhaps lacking in ideas in how they're going forward. His second half is going to move very slowly for Steve Bruce. His team 1-0 in front. Let's see how long they can hold on to the lead. Walker-Peters wide on the right-hand side. Remember, Tottenham beat Villa their opening game. They came from behind. They drew away at Manchester City their second game. Now here they are behind against Newcastle. Danny Rose in possession, 10 yards outside the penalty area, left-hand side. Turns around Emil Kraft, gives it to Lamela. Lamela with the yellow boots. Glides along towards the edge of the penalty area, gives it back to Sissoko. Now Winks onto Son, a little bit more room on the right-hand side, but Atsu comes to close that down. And now Walker-Peters, can he produce a cross? Stabs it in, too predictable, headed away by Schär, controlled by Atsu, and Newcastle get it away. Tottenham need to be more inventive than that. Atsu onto Joelinton, challenged by Harry Winks, and that goes out for a Newcastle throw. Jermaine Genius.
Yeah, you're right, Connor, it's all a little bit slow, a little bit ponderous and predictable. I think that occasion there, it was Walker-Peters to Son. Son gets his head up, tries to put a bit of a nothing ball into the box, and essentially that's easy, I think, for Newcastle to deal with.
Flag raised, otherwise Christian Atsu for a moment thought he was clean through. He's got to come back for a free kick to Tottenham because of offside. So Steve Bruce, who's never won an away match as a Premier League manager against Tottenham, here he is on his first visit to the new stadium. Joelinton's goal has his team in front. Earlier on today, Bournemouth 1, Manchester City 3. That was our first commentary on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. 6:06 coming up at the end of this game. Schär out of defence for Newcastle, takes his time, takes too much time. Lamela launches in at him, but it's a foul. Free kick for a foul on the Swiss defender. Free kick to Newcastle.
In fairness to Lamela, he's worked his socks off this afternoon, and that was another occasion there, just tracking back. He did everything right. He got there, but he was just a little bit, I suppose, forceful and made the foul. It was a foul. You're seeing pictures now of Mauricio Pochettino rubbing his chin, just looks a frustrated figure, trying to figure this out.
Walker-Peters struggling again under pressure from Ritchie, and Tottenham get it back to Hugo Lloris, and they'll build from deep. Davison Sanchez into the midfield to Sissoko. Tottenham fans urging their team to click, to get it together here against a Newcastle side who have looked something of a shambles in their opening 2 games, but are proving real difficult opponents for Tottenham today. Rose delivers a low cross. Dummett, who's playing well, puts it out for a throw-in. Tottenham throw on the left. Near the corner flag they're attacking. Rose takes it quickly. Back to Sissoko. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Low to the feet of Harry Winks in a central position. Now across to Son. Closer to the box now. Out to Walker-Peters. Short ball to Son again. Harry Kane waits patiently in the middle. Can Tottenham pick him out? And how long before Pochettino brings on Christian Eriksen? Here is Rose, left-hand side. One touch to set himself. Sends it across. Lucas Moura's header. Loops up into the air and lands on the roof of the net. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1.
There's a good delivery in the box from Danny Rose. And the run's not bad either from Lucas Moura, but I think it just ended up coming off his shoulder, looping up and going over the crossbar. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Lucas Moura. A lot of people and a lot of talk surrounding the fact that he should start games more, given the way he ended last season in the Champions League. Did he deserve to start last week against Manchester City? But he's not really grabbed the opportunity in the 2 games he has started so far. Against Villa start of the season wasn't great, and today I don't think any of the front 4 from Spurs' perspective have been up to standard.
Tottenham fans a bit riled here. Rose over the halfway line, plays it over the top for Harry Kane to chase after Lascelles. Has it covered, he opens his arms outstretched, he invites Dubravka to come, and Newcastle Slovakian keeper grabs that comfortably. It's the first time of the match though Tottenham played one over the top for Harry Kane to run onto.
Yeah, it's important just to put those kind of ideas into defenders' heads every now and again, that you will go over the top of them. They do need to be worried about that ball going in behind them. They've not had that. They've been, like I said, I honestly feel like 56 minutes into this game, Newcastle have had a tough probably 5-10 minute spell. Apart from that, they've dealt with everything.
Here comes Almiron for Newcastle, who won't be able to absorb pressure the whole way. They've got to try and apply some of their own. Here is Joelinton, out to Almiron, 15 yards from the byline on the right-hand side as Newcastle attack. Their change strip, bright orange for this season. Joelinton to Almiron, that's neat and tidy. Now Kraft will cross, it comes off Rose, and Newcastle effectively win their corner.
Really good little spell of possession that from Newcastle. And it's only a matter of time before Eriksen comes on. Looks like he's getting himself ready now, along with Lo Celso, to come onto the pitch, which doesn't surprise me one bit.
There's going to be a big cheer if and when Christian Eriksen makes his introduction. That international transfer window not closed yet. Some of the big clubs would love Christian Eriksen as a signing. Here comes the corner, played in by Ritchie, flicked into the air and grabbed by Lloris. Now Davison Sanchez was hurt in all of that, and Lloris puts it out for a throw so that some medical attention can be brought on for the Colombian Davison Sanchez. 58 minutes exactly on the big stadium clock, and Tottenham are going to make not one but 2 changes. Eriksen and Lo Celso are going to come on together. Fresh legs and fresh ideas for Mauricio Pochettino's team. So while we've got the break in play here, Sanchez still receiving treatment. Let's nip back to Molineux, the latest on Wolves against Burnley. This was also a 4:30 start for Robin Cowell.
It's still Wolves 0, Burnley 1, and Wolves still haven't really got going here. Ashley Barnes had another effort just off target, and Nuno Espirito Santo has made his first change. João Moutinho, who played all 90 minutes in Torino on Thursday night, is off, and Leander Dendoncker is on. It's still Wolves 0, Burnley 1.
Thank you, Robin. So Davison Sanchez is going to be okay. He's just having to trot around to the sideline to come back on again. And play is going to resume with a throw. And Tottenham have got those 2 substitutes ready to come on. Haven't brought them on during this break in play. But Eriksen and Lo Celso coming on presently. Sanchez back on the pitch. Almost an hour played. Winks up to the halfway line. Tottenham playing from right to left as we look down. White shirts, navy shorts, white socks. Winks gets it back from Walker-Peters into the centre circle again to Sissoko. Now to the left-hand side. Rose onto Lamela, back into the middle to Sissoko again. Tottenham neat and tidy in that central third, but need to threaten more in the final third. This is Walker-Peters, gets to the edge of the penalty area. Crosses from the right-hand side, behind all his teammates in there. Almiron will come away with possession from a right full-back position. And then his feet give away out from under. I don't think he was fouled there. I think he slipped on the playing surface. And the ball runs out of play.
Yeah, he's not lively, Almiron, when he's got on the ball, but you're right there, he did just slip.
Winks onto Lucas Moura. Lascelles leans into him. Nutmeg from Lucas Moura and Atsu. Really good from the Brazilian. Now Son, crossing position from the right, sends it in low, cut out by Dummett. Cut out easily from a Newcastle point of view. And Dummett clears it away up towards Joelinton, who's outnumbered, and Tottenham have it back once again. Still Lo Celso and Eriksson wait to come on. Atsu's done really well on Walker-Peters. I think Walker-Peters has struggled today.
He's just pulled his hamstring as well, I think.
He's holding the back of his hamstring. Atsu's cross into the middle. Here's Joelinton, sets himself up, gets the shot, but no power on it. Well, that was almost spectacular. He cut it on the volley, but he didn't catch it cleanly. And although it was on target, it was a comfortable save for Hugo Lloris. What a goal that would have been for Joelinton. Right, Tottenham are now going to make the changes. Walker-Peters is down, and Pochettino's just come across to the fourth official, says, whoa, 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 hold your horses. Let's see what the situation is with Walker-Peters here before we make any changes. Tottenham looking in something of disarray at the moment against a team they were expected to deal with comfortably today, but it's never quite that easy in the Premier League.
No, and they're up against a team that's come here with a bit between their teeth, with, I suppose, a manager that feels the pressure that he's been put under has been very unnecessary, and he's got them organised. You know, he's got them ready to come here and put in a performance, and in fairness to them, they've been brilliant, you know, for the first hour of this game. But this, you know, these moments here in this type of heat, this type of football club, you know, if they aspire to be in top four or even challenging for league titles, this next half an hour is where Newcastle have really got to step up, because Tottenham are going to come on strong now.
That's the voice of Jermaine Genius, who's played for both Tottenham and Newcastle, watching this game with us here on 5 Live. Right, Tottenham have made their changes. Lo Celso comes on for Lamela. Eriksson comes on for Walker-Peters, who's got that hamstring injury. And Sissoko is going to go and play right back. So it's a very attacking Tottenham team on the pitch now. Sissoko, Eriksson, Lucas Moura, Lo Celso, Son, Harry Kane, they're all on the pitch. Can they get the goal that will equalise and level things up? Here is Lo Celso, first touch since coming on, the bright orange boots, which matches the Newcastle kit. This is Eriksson, first touch for him. The man who came on and very much helped turn things in Tottenham's favour against Aston Villa when they were 1-0 down in their opening home game here. Can history repeat itself? Can they turn it around to win 2-1? Lo Celso to Eriksson, 10 yards outside the penalty area, wide left to Rose. Here comes the cross low into the middle. Cher clears it away only as far as Winks onto Alderweireld. 10 yards thereabouts outside the Newcastle penalty area. He gets it back from Sissoko. Played in by Alderweireld. Son jumps, comfortably beaten in the air by Cher, and Newcastle get it out for a throw. Taken quickly. Harry Winks, edge of the penalty area, right hand side. Turns once and then twice, and Longstaff was right at his face. Played in by Sissoko. Eriksson in a more central position. Low ball to Lucas Moura. Better ball, but he rushes the shot. Lucas Moura needed more composure there, and it goes well wide.
I think already, though, the influence of Christian Eriksen and Lo Celso coming onto the pitch is there for all to see. Lovely ball from Eriksen, just fed it through to Lucas Moura. Not sure what he was thinking with the shot. Almost panicked, snatched at that opportunity. He's in a good position, edge of the D, and just pulled his shot well wide.
Lucas Moura, who scored 10 Premier League goals last season. I remember being here towards the end of the campaign when he got a hat-trick against Huddersfield. And he's had a few chances today. And mind you, the best of them was denied by Dummett, who won a wonderful header when Lucas Moura was ready to score in the first half. 64 minutes on the stadium clock. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1 here on 5 Live. Dubravka clears it straight down the middle. Joelinton wins the flick on, but the flag had been raised. Joelinton had come back from an offside position. Otherwise, Ritchie would have been away there. It was a good flick on. 60,000, just shy of 60,000. 59,245 the official attendance inside Tottenham Stadium today. Eriksen, who has come in, slotted into this midfield and making everything look a bit more comfortable for the home side. Son, just outside the penalty area on the left. Gives it short to Eriksen, cuts it back to Danny Rose. 10 yards outside the penalty area. Son onto Eriksen, stumbles, runs into Longstaff. Newcastle are going to get it back here. Almiron comes away. There's a foul on Cher, and Mike Dean blows the whistle, and he's going to show a yellow card. It was a late challenge on the Swiss defender, and Danny Rose goes in the book for that.
Let's have a look if that was even that bad. I don't think it was that bad. I don't see how he's been booked for that, really. He's gone for a challenge on the ball. He's hardly even touched Fabian Cher. Quite a harsh one on Danny Rose, that. Let's get booked.
Third yellow of the game. Winks and Rose for Tottenham. Matt Ritchie has been booked for Newcastle. It's an intriguing game, this. Can Tottenham get back in it? Can Newcastle go and nick a second goal? They've not threatened Hugo Lloris's goal all that much since taking the lead. Kraft gives it back to Cher. Forward ball straight to Davison Sanchez. Tottenham build from deep once more. Alderweireld, right-footed over the top. Son's made a good run, taken down on the chest of the penalty area. Cher remains goal side of it. Sissoko's cross from the right-hand side, high and hanging, and Kraft beats Kane in the air. Good touch from Eriksen to Harry Winks, just outside the D. To the right is Sissoko. Now Eriksen trying to play it out to Rose on the left wing, but it's intercepted by Kraft, and his header kept in play by Harry Winks. So Tottenham come once more. Lo Celso back to Christian Eriksen. Those the two who've come on in the double substitution. Eriksen 15 yards outside the penalty area. Isaac Hayden getting close to him. Now Lo Celso flicked on by Son to Kane, who tries to return it into the Korean. Wouldn't sit up for Kane the second time. This is Rose outside the penalty area on the left. Gets to the byline. Good work by Almiron. Tackled out for a Tottenham corner. Still Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1.
Yeah, much better. A spell of play that's got this crowd lifted. All started with an absolutely sensational ball from Alderweireld to Heung-min Son, who just couldn't quite get it under his control. Eriksen's 100% made this performance better. Coming onto the pitch himself, and Lo Celso's lifted the quality.
Tottenham trying to build up ahead of steam. Eriksen rolls the corner short to Son, flicks it on to Rose. Poor delivery from Rose though, and cleared away by Joelinton. And here is Sissoko back on the halfway line, now playing right back for Spurs. A couple of other substitutes warming up down below us for both teams actually. Here is Alderweireld inside the Newcastle half. Gives it short to Harry Winks. Tottenham need inspiration. Newcastle working very hard. 10 men back behind the ball. Again, a stray pass as Danny Rose effectively passes it back to Dubravka, and groans from the Tottenham fans.
Yeah, Newcastle just need to maintain their cool, keep their shape, taking as much energy as they can, slow this game down, because at the minute it's leaning in their favour. The odd bit of, the odd spell of play from Spurs has been good, but still that clear-cut opportunity has come yet.
Here is Christian Eriksen, just well up against Joelinton. Nutmeg on Joelinton by Son. Tottenham fans enjoyed that. Here comes Harry Kane, runs into Lascelles, tries to flick at one side of him, but Cher is there to bang it away for Newcastle. Spurs 0, Newcastle 1. Another stray pass, this time by Winks. Picked up by Matt Ritchie. He goes long over the head of Davison Sanchez, but difficult for Joelinton to control. Hits off his knee and down he goes like a sack of spuds. Newcastle temporarily playing with 10. It's not a head injury, no reason to stop playing. Lucas Moura has it, 20 yards into the Newcastle half. Matt Ritchie wants them to put the ball out. Sissoko's having none of it. He attacks the Newcastle penalty area. Newcastle play on with 10. Tottenham have it with Eriksen. Now Winks out to Sissoko. Joelinton is still down, wriggling on the ground. Just outside the Tottenham penalty area, down the other end of the pitch. Eriksen into a shooting position, drills it in low. Hayden blocks it at source. Loose ball spills to Alderweireld. Combination of cheers for Tottenham and boos for Joe Linton, and it's a wall of noise here on 5 Live as Rose gives it into Eriksson once again. It's very tense here inside Tottenham Stadium. Alderweireld out to Wiggs. Here's the ball into the middle, looking for Lucas Moura. It goes through to Dubravka, and he will put it out of play so Joe Linton can get treatment. And there's boos, and everyone's booing everyone. And it's still Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1.
I never understood, or understand why Newcastle players are remonstrating with Tottenham players. It's not their decision to make. It's up to the referee to say, and we all know this as players. It's not a head injury. It's an hamstring injury. There's no real risk to the player, or it seemed to have pulled his hamstring anyway. It's up to Mike Dean to say, stop play. Spurs are well within their rights to continue playing.
So we have 20 minutes to go. Tottenham have not had a single shot on target in the second half, and there's a change being prepared by the visitors, and the Japanese attacker Yoshinori Muto is about to come on for Newcastle. Mike Dean allowing the players come over and have a drinks break here while Joe Linton is receiving treatment. There didn't seem to be much in it when he got hurt there. I mean, he was trying to control the ball and he's gone down, and that's all the boos now. Joe Linton back at his feet, and Tottenham supporters clearly feel he's just been time wasting.
I think it caused an issue between Steve Bruce and Mauricio Pochettino as well down there. They were having a bit of an argument about the whole situation.
Stakes are huge. I mean, for Steve Bruce, if he can win here, that is going to erase so many of the bad memories of the first 2 weekends of the season. It'll really see him settle in as Newcastle coach. These would be an invaluable 3 points. And then from a Tottenham point of view, if they lose here to Newcastle, that's 1 win in 3 games, and already their pursuit of the top 2 in the Premier League is going to seem that they're chasing.
You know what, I would hope that either way for Newcastle, however this game may go over the next 20 minutes, that there's enough within this performance for those Newcastle fans to be actually have something, show some respect to Steve Bruce is what I suppose I'm trying to say. That's not to say they're not, but I think everybody's fearing the worst when it comes to Steve Bruce and the appointment at Newcastle United. From what I've seen from them today, this is a team that are putting in all the effort. By the way, Joe Linton having a laugh. I thought he had to come off. I mean,
he sprints back on like a newborn gazelle and just bounces across the pitch.
He literally laid on the floor for about 5 minutes with his hand in the air.
Well, I think many Newcastle fans had made up their mind about Steve Bruce before a ball was kicked, and he was starting from a negative position. Worth remembering that Rafa Benitez didn't get a win for the first 10 games of the Premier League last season. This is Alderweireld out to Sissoko on the right. Well, all of that wasted about 3 or 4 minutes. This is Danny Rose midway inside the Newcastle half. Can Tottenham come from behind late on here? Son into Winks. Eriksson close to the penalty area. Manages to smuggle it back to Harry Winks, but Kraft is there. Emil Kraft, who made his debut at Norwich last weekend, the Swedish right back. Played against England in the World Cup last summer. He gets it away for Newcastle, and Tottenham come at them again. Eriksson runs into Cher. Lucas Moura has done well. Just when it seemed that Newcastle had won back the ball, Lucas Moura keeps it for Spurs. Harry Winks, short ball to Alderweireld. Tottenham still trying to bring most things through the middle, and Newcastle coping with that so far. Lo Celso to Winks, now out wide to Danny Rose. Slow from Rose, eventually gives it short to Son. Son tries to veer into a shooting position. He's on his right boot near the D. Took too long. Hayden closed him down. Alderweireld onto Lo Celso. Back now to Son, still on the edge of the D, onto his right boot. Hayden sticking to him like glue. There's no chance of a shot there. Alderweireld gets it again, 10 yards outside the penalty area, scoops it in, looking for Lucas Moura. Lascelles springing his heels, gets up and heads it away. Here's Lo Celso, left-footed shot, 6 yards wide.
There's a poor effort in the end from Lo Celso. I have to say, Newcastle's defending's been absolutely brilliant. Put everything into this game. They've been compact, they've been tight. Every single player is working their absolute socks off. there are no gaps. You know, there are times when Son's getting the ball and he's trying to find an angle to get that shot on his right foot. Lo Celso's doing the same, but they're not. You know, usually you just get that half a second to get your shot off. They don't seem to have that, Tottenham, and that's down to the work ethic of this Newcastle side.
Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1. 6:06 coming up on 5 Live. Emma Saunders with Robbie Savage today. Newcastle go long. Atsu was offside. Free kick to Spurs near the halfway line. And just to put this in context, with Tottenham did so well last season, finishing up in the Champions League places, getting to the Champions League final itself. Newcastle last season spent a quarter of the campaign in the relegation zone. They lost their 2 top scorers from last season in the summer, Jose Perez and Rondon. They lost Rafa Benitez, and yet Steve Bruce has managed to cobble it all together, and here they are leading Tottenham 1-0 at Tottenham. Eriksson tries to play it forward straight to Lascelles. Anywhere will do as he clears it away. Alderweireld comes for Tottenham. Midway back into the Newcastle half. Tottenham playing right to left as we look down. Defending the big wall end here at Tottenham Stadium. Ball played into the penalty area, gets its way through to Son. Rose in support, again a little bit slow with the delivery of the cross. Almiron able to close him down. I think some Tottenham fans are getting on Danny Rose's back there. They say, come on, whip it in, don't take so long.
Yeah. It's all a little bit too slow down either side, really. They've got to start testing that defensive line a bit better. Keep getting balls into the box, see what they're like when that ball gets around the penalty spot, and they're having to constantly head it out. Not asking enough questions, Tottenham.
Remarkable stat from Opta here. Harry Kane has had just 2 touches inside the Newcastle penalty area, 1 in each half. That is crazy for Tottenham at home. Here is Son, 5 yards outside the penalty area, shuffles onto his left this time, and he squirts a shot through. Well, that is not troubling Dubravka, who goes down in instalments and saves it easy.
Yeah, I mean, on Harry Kane, he's been poor. You know, he's been poor in both halves, but you know, for a period of the game against Villa, he didn't do particularly well, and then he just pops up, and you know, if he does get that chance, he will stick it away. But I still would like to see more from him, maybe coming a little bit deeper, have an influence on the game.
Stray ball by Son, gives it to Ritchie, groans to the Tottenham fans. 14 minutes of normal time to play. Longstaff put one over the top. Atsu went after it.
He's in as well,
and he lost his footing. I wonder, does Atsu have the right studs on? He's fallen over a few times today. We'll go to Wolves in just a moment. Now Atsu is staying down, same as Joelinton did a while ago.
I'm not putting it out. It's as simple as that. And if I'm a Newcastle player, get up.
Yeah. This is Rose for Tottenham, into Eriksson, onto Harry Winks. Midway inside the Newcastle half, Lo Celso in front of Harry Kane, down he goes, really clumsy challenge by Lascelles. Mike Dean was a bit behind that, he hasn't flinched. VAR will be looking at that in the background. Harry Kane, well, it looked like Lascelles lunged into him like a rugby tackle, nowhere near the ball. This has got to go for a VAR review. What do you think, Jermaine?
It looked clumsy from Lascelles. I think he slips and pulls his hamstring, but he just throws himself into Harry Kane.
Jamal Lascelles dives down, reaches out with his arm, impedes Harry Kane.
Looks like a penalty to me.
To me, that looks like a penalty as well.
I mean,
VAR are checking. Tottenham fans, remember last week singing the praises of VAR. Is VAR going to come to Tottenham's rescue again here? Remember, Mike Dean at the time, he didn't flinch. He said play on.
I think it has to be a penalty. I'll be surprised if it's not given, because Jamal Lascelles has completely lost control. He's threw his arm across Harry Kane's leg.
Yeah, his arm doesn't need to be out there.
His arm doesn't need to be out there. He's tripped him with his arm, and essentially that's...
Even if he genuinely fell over, which I don't think he did, even if he genuinely did, he has stretched out his arm to make sure he's bringing Kane down with him.
They're taking a long time over it, I know that. Wow.
It's got to be a throw-in. It's not a penalty. Well, I am surprised. So what's happened there? They think he's genuinely fallen over, and there's no... I mean, what's the ruling there? That does surprise me.
I just don't think you can get emotional about VAR anymore, because the decisions are just so random at times, especially when it comes to penalty decisions. So, look, it is what it is. That's twice now. I would have, if you slow that down, they are penalties. Jamal Lascelles just tripped there. He's fell over, and if that's not impeding Harry Kane having a shot, I'm not 100% sure what is. So, bit of a shambles, but it is what it is, you know. It is what it is.
Well, VAR rescued Tottenham last week. they will feel it hasn't done them a favour. They won't be singing songs about VAR this particular sunny Sunday, and Steve Bruce down there with a poker face that is clearly going, my God, we got away with one there, but he doesn't want to show it.
No. Lascelles has injured himself in the process.
I'm not having this because, okay, you stumbled in the penalty area, but he's not injured.
I don't know whether he did injure himself, which is why he stumbled. He seemed to be like grimace as he was running, which essentially made him fall over and panic and think, actually, I've got to stop him. So he chucked his arm out as he's falling and trips over Harry Kane. I mean, look, I think it's a shocker from VAR, but this is the world we're living in with football now. You just can't get emotional
Just
about
remember
it.
one very important thing about VAR, though, is Mike Dean didn't give it. So in the pre-VAR days, it wouldn't have been a penalty either. They've just stuck to his decision. They felt there was no clear and obvious reason to change what the referee had already decided. Here's Sissoko's cross on the right hand. Lucas Moura puts it over the top. Huge chance. He had one like that at the end of the first half. This was arguably easier. He's put it wide with the goal again at his mercy.
Sums up his day for Lucas Moura. It's a beautiful ball from Eriksson out wide to Sissoko, who eventually did well to get the ball into the box. What's he, 7 or 8 yards out? He's got to stick that away. It's not a difficult chance, that, really. It bounces up. He's just got to control it, keep the ball down, and it's in the back of the net.
So Lascelles is going to go off. Boos for him, who's become from the Tottenham fans. We're into the last 10, almost 9 minutes now, and a very slow walk to the sidelines. Federico Fernandez, the former Swansea defender, is going to come on. It's all been happening here, but we've got to check in back at Molineux. Wolves, Burnley, Robin Cowan.
Still Burnley lead by a goal to nil. Wolves are all over the away side at the moment. Johnny just put in a delicious ball that was crying out to be tapped in from about 2 yards out. No one on the end of it. Adama Traore, who made such an impact on Monday night against Manchester United, is on. Ashley Barnes, the goal scorer for Burnley, is off. Jay Rodriguez on. Less than 10 minutes to play here. It's Wolves 0, Burnley 1.
We've got 8.5 minutes on the official stadium clock. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1. Harry Kane going down to the penalty area, dragged down really by Jamal Lascelles. Mike Dean didn't think it was a penalty, and the VAR review agreed with that. And Newcastle will be feeling they've gotten away with one here. Newcastle come on the attack. Atsu on the far side. Alderweireld over to try and stop him. Atsu's managed to wriggle free. Pulls it back for Almiron, and it's put out by Danny Rose for a corner. Newcastle, who've had so much defending, they would love to keep it up the Tottenham end for a few minutes now.
You know, they've worked very hard defensively, but I'd also say kind of any attacks that they have had, they've still looked a little bit more dangerous than what Tottenham have. Tottenham have a lot of the ball, but it's blunt. Nothing's really happening. It's not sharp, it's not incisive. Whereas Newcastle have done well whenever they have managed to get themselves up the pitch.
Ritchie's delivery, left-footed from the corner. Davison Sanchez, right-footed, clears it away. Tottenham had brought everyone back to defend, and Emil Kraft from the halfway line sends it back to Dubravka. Newcastle are going to use every trick in the book here to waste time and to run down the clock. 1-0 in front, away from home at Tottenham. Joe Linton puts it in front of Atsu. Poor first touch. Alderweireld manages to tackle him. Atsu clatters into Alderweireld. Now that's a free kick to Tottenham on the edge of their own penalty area. Joe Linton is proving a good winner of the ball in the air in attack, and his flick on headers for Almiron and for Atsu today have been very impressive.
Yeah, he's playing the role of the number 9 very well. He's absolutely shattered. He keeps looking over to the bench. I think that's the look of a man who wants to come off. But if he keeps performing the way he is, there's no way Steve Bruce is going to bring him off. He's holding up the ball well.
Here is Son, left-hand side. Match of the day tonight. BBC One, 10:30. They'll be going through that penalty decision. Here is Sissoko's cross from the right-hand side. Too high for Lo Celso, heads away by Dummett. Falls to Winks on the edge of the penalty area. Tottenham have got Davison Sanchez back at the halfway line, and everyone else is on all-out attack mode at the moment. The time is running out, 6 minutes to play, plus the stoppages. There'll be a few of those, though, particularly the Joe Linton delay. I mean, that was probably 4 minutes all on its own. Here is Alderweireld. I would guess this could be a 7-minute added-on sort of scenario. 6 anyway. Here is Rose on the left-hand side. gives in the delivery, looking for Lo Celso, headed away. Sissoko's got a lot of time here. Right foot, a poor cross straight to Longstaff. That needed to be better quality from the Frenchman. And Atsu comes away with possession for Newcastle. Joelinton back to Longstaff. Ball over the top, too far in front of Almiron, and that'll run all the way through to Hugo Lloris.
It was a great ball from Longstaff. I just think Almiron just stopped running. I don't think he expected anybody to be able to find him, but Longstaff did pick him out. Look at that work rate from Almiron, by the way.
Good player, Longstaff. 21 years of age. There had been talk Manchester United were interested in him over the summer. Newcastle have done well to hold on. Here is Joelinton on the halfway line. Winks can't get it off him. He's a real handful, the Brazilian. Davinson Sanchez comes across, and then he's literally pushed off the pitch by Joelinton. Pochettino is right in front of that, in front of the dugouts. Free kick has been given to Spurs. 5 minutes to go. They're going to be a long 5 minutes for Steve Bruce. Christian Eriksen, who's come on, who's tried to pull the strings, but yet to deliver the killer ball. Gets it back from Sissoko. Eriksen, the Dane. Right-footed to Harry Kane on the edge of the D. Kane gives it away. It's not been Harry Kane's day so far. Matt Ritchie, left wing-back position, under pressure from Lo Celso. Turns, back to Dummett. Agricultural boom away as he just blasted long into the Tottenham half. And Tottenham inevitably will come at Newcastle once more. Newcastle hanging on here in their bright, luminous orange shirts. Eriksen short to Harry Winks. Midway inside the Newcastle half. 4 minutes to play, plus the stoppages. Son, left wing, comes in field of Kraft. Lays it back to Eriksen. Now here's the ball. Looking for Sissoko, who stretches and gets there, but straight to Dummett, who can clear away. Good run from Sissoko from right back.
Great ball from Eriksen again, though. Spotting everything and just finding people.
Here he goes again. Christian Eriksen, right hand side of the penalty area, gives it in low. Fernandes, who came on for Lascelles, clears away. 2-on-2 if Newcastle are quick enough here. Almiron, Joelinton to his right, Atsu's to his left, gives it to Joelinton, just pushes it in front of him though. That's taken some of the sting out of it. Here's Almiron again, turns and shoots and puts it over the top. Not a bad effort. Took a deflection on the way through. It's a corner. Newcastle nearly getting their second.
Almiron's been absolutely sensational in this game. I mean, I'd be surprised if anybody's ran more than him, especially at high intensity, driving his team up the park. Just couldn't quite find Joelinton on the first occasion, but when he gets it back, you can see what he's trying to do on his left foot, trying to guide it into that far corner. It was deflected wide by Danny Rose.
Joelinton's been booked for time wasting. He stayed down on the pitch for a long time earlier. He's now said he's injured and he's staggered off slowly. And they've made on comes Udo to replace him. And he was so slow leaving the pitch for the substitution that Mike Dean has showed him a yellow card. Mutu is on for Newcastle. This is Atsu on the far side, running into Christian Eriksen, right back by the corner flag. Tottenham are defending. Eriksen deals with it well. That is a goal kick. Closing stages to at Molineux. Robin Cowan.
Still Wolves 0, Burnley 1. Wolves knocking at the door, and they have a free kick here in a very good position. Right side, this near side, the right. It's going to be Ruben Neves to swing this one in. They've had a couple of chances from this. It's a good one, but it's another header away from Burnley. Defensively, they've been absolutely outstanding so far. Can they hold on? It's Wolves 0, Burnley 1.
Thanks very much. So, just over 2 minutes of normal time to go. Tottenham about to lose at their impressive new stadium for only the second time. Ben Davies has come on the left-hand side for Spurs. Christian Eriksen has it near the centre circle. All 11 back behind the ball for Newcastle. Lo Celso, who struggled to make an impact since coming on, helps it to Alderweireld. Crossing position on the right for the Belgian. Gets to the byline. Plays it in high and hopeful. Kraft hasn't dealt with it. Son hits it on the volley. Hits the body of Scher. Did it hit in hand? Was it a handball? Tottenham, I'll have to say the players aren't making much of an appeal. It's more people in the crowd. As Sanchez gets the better of Muto. Muto felt he was fouled. Play on, says the referee.
I have to say, I'm not sure Mike Dean's got control of this game.
Here come Tottenham. Son, left-footed cross is disappointing and straight into Bravka. Jermaine.
Newcastle staff are going crazy down here, and I think rightly so. I think that was clumsy from Davinson Sanchez. Muto's in here. Davinson loses track of the ball, and I think he's the first one to pull back on Mutu. There's no reason for him to pull him at all. He gets across him there, and Davinson knows he's in trouble, That's a foul. And he's in on goal there, Mutu.
Sissoko pinned back in a right full-back position for Spurs. 40 seconds of the 90 minutes remaining. It'll be intriguing to see how much is added on for the stoppages here, because it feels like there's been a lot of stoppages in this second half. Here comes Ben Davies down the left for Tottenham, in towards Kane. Too heavy a touch from Kane. He's not been at his usual high standard today, and that goes out for a goal kick.
He's been miles off it. But Son's not been at his best. Lucas Moura's been poor. He had to take Lamela off. Lesoso's been quiet since he came onto the pitch. You can only get away with a couple in the Premier League. You know, whether it's top to bottom, you can only get away with a couple of really poor performances. And I would say, you know, at least that front four have been shocking today. They've been really poor.
6 minutes added on for stoppages. 6 minutes for Newcastle to hang on, for Tottenham to try and go and get the equaliser. Lucas Moura tries to find Harry Kane, and Dummett intercepts and clears it away for Newcastle. It's been a very entertaining game for the neutral. It's been a frustrating afternoon for Spurs. Thought they might have had a penalty given to them by VAR in the first half. VAR said no. Same situation in the second half, which looked at a far more cut and dry affair. Eriksson swings one in, and it comes off the fingertips of Dubravka, and it will be a corner to Spurs. But no doubt the penalty appeals will be what dominate the headlines, certainly in the capital. Up in Newcastle, they'll be writing headlines about their new number 9, Joelinton, who's scored what they hope will be the winner. So Eriksson stands ready to take the corner. Here it comes, right footed towards the back post. Dubravka comes and parries it away. Two hands like a volleyball player. Good goalkeeping. Winks gets it midway inside the Newcastle half. Newcastle sitting really deep now. Winks looks up. So many white shirts in front of him. Plays it in. Terrible ball. And I think that sums up Tottenham today. They may still go and get a late equaliser here, but in the main, they have not been as good as you expect from a Pochettino team.
Well, they haven't been anywhere near their standards since obviously the opening game of the season. I know it's only the third game, but I can only think of probably a half an hour's spell against Aston Villa where they looked anything like themselves. Against City, I thought they were very fortunate to get anything out of that game, and today they've been poor. They really have been not shown any kind of signs of urgency or creativity or that sharpness that you need. And they'll be lucky if they get a point out of this, in my opinion, because I think Newcastle have been far the better team.
Tottenham will be in the Champions League draw on Thursday. We'll have that live for you on 5 Live. But it's going to be a disappointing start to the season if it's going to be 1 win from 3 from their opening 3 Premier League games. Sissoko, under pressure from Ritchie, gives it back to Davinson Sanchez. Can Newcastle hang on? They will be walking on cloud 9 if they can. Alderweireld. Still Tottenham go. There's so much talent on the pitch. Lucas Moura, Harry Kane, Son. Can he come up with something? Here's the ball in towards Lucas Moura. Dummett heads it out for a corner. Another Tottenham corner in stoppage time.
That's already 3 good balls that Ben Davies has put into the box when he's come on. That's all it needed.
Yeah, Ben Davies has done better than Rose did with the crosses earlier. Here comes Winks to the byline left-hand side. Cuts it back for Son, just inside the penalty area. Right-footed shot, well closed down by Matt Ritchie and cleared away by Dummett. And once again, anywhere will do for Newcastle. And Steve Bruce comes out to the edge of the technical area. I think he's worried his team are too deep. He's saying to them, come on, get out a little bit. We can't just sit back and keep allowing Tottenham onto us like that. The clock ticks on. Remember, 6 minutes added on for the stoppages here. We've played roughly half of those. Eriksson towards Son, away by Fernandes. Now Alderweireld, closed down by Atsu. This is Sissoko on the right-hand side. Back to Lucas Moura. Can he find space? Back to Sissoko. That's good. Here's Kane. Fluffed it. Harry Kane on the edge of the 6-yard box. Fluffs a glorious opportunity to score. Muto will hold it up for Newcastle, and it goes off Davinson Sanchez for a Newcastle throw. They will take their time over this. That could have been the moment. Harry Kane, who's waited all afternoon for a chance, he virtually mishit it when it came to him.
Yeah, that was it. Finally a little bit of sharpness into their play. Good play from Lucas Moura just picked the pass out as Sissoko from right back kind of got in behind. He threaded it through. The cutback from Sissoko's good. Harry Kane just so off it today. The timing wasn't there. He got no contact on the ball. His balance was off. Just scuffed it. That was the big opportunity.
Newcastle just looking at the players, the body language down there. Dummett is clapping his hands and he's shouting at his teammates, and they know they are so close to a result that can kickstart their season. Richie goes long with the throw. Almiron had made a good run for him. Gets there ahead of Davison Sanchez. Down goes Almiron. Free kick Newcastle. They'll waste more time over this. Tottenham utterly frustrated. Harry Kane is miscued. Penalty decisions have not gone their way. Jermaine, you thought it was a penalty first half. I mean, I think we both think it was a penalty second half. Yeah. And Tottenham, some days, it's just not your day. No, look, they rode their luck massively last week, and I thought they got all the luck in the world last week. I thought the goal should have stood from Gabriel Jesus. It didn't. The VAR went that way last weekend. This weekend, it hasn't gone their way. You know, I think there's two penalty decisions that have gone against them. But put all that aside, put the decisions aside, they're excuses in my opinion. You've got to look at the performance, and the performance has been poor. The front four have been nowhere near it all game, and if they're not playing well, we've got no chance of winning the game. Time is almost up. Davis to the halfway line for Tottenham. Winks out to Lucas Moura, who's taken up a position on the left wing now. Newcastle drag all their tired bodies back behind the ball. Eriksson to Lucas Moura outside the D. Onto his right boot. Hits it straight into Cher. Good defending again from Newcastle. Lo Celso to Sissoko on the right-hand side. Here comes the cross. Attempted bicycle kick from Lucas Moura. Doesn't come off. Ben Davies sends it in low. Fernandes clears away. And the Newcastle fans celebrate the full-time whistle. It's a first win in the job for Steve Bruce. It's only a second defeat ever at this stadium for Spurs. The goal from Joe Linton. Tottenham 0, Newcastle 1. There's a penalty at Wolves straight to Molineux and Robin Cowan.
It's been scored. Wolves had their equaliser in the final seconds of the game. Raul Jimenez fouled by Peters. It looks soft. VAR checked it. Eventually they agreed with referee Craig Pawson, and Raul Jimenez has rolled in his first goal of the season to surely snatch a point against Burnley, who'd held on for so long. It is Wolves 1, Burnley 1.
Thank you, Robert. The celebrations on the pitch from the Newcastle players here at Tottenham Stadium. They go over to their travelling fans who can't quite believe what they've seen here. But Steve Bruce has instilled a hardiness, a determination to his players, who defended very well on a day when Tottenham have had an off day. There has been the controversy about the penalty decisions, and we're going to hear a whole lot more about that. But once again, Tottenham starting a Premier League season slowly. One win in their first 3 games. It is now 6 seasons since Tottenham last won their first 2 home matches in the league. Jermaine.
Look, they were just miles off it today from the first kick of the game. They just didn't seem to have any ideas to break down this Newcastle side. Now, that can be the case sometimes. Sometimes you're not always at the races. But I think when you are so dominant in terms of possession, you have to find a way to control the game, to not be conceding a goal like they did, where Davison Sanchez, I'm not 100% sure what he's even thinking. He's miles off it. So look, congratulations to Newcastle. It's absolutely amazing to see their fans celebrating like that. They've had so much kind of doom and gloom and a very uncertain summer, and obviously for Steve Bruce, his players and those travelling fans this afternoon, that was an amazing performance from that group of players, and they deserve all the accolades that they're getting from the supporters right now, because they put everything into that and thoroughly deserve their 1-0 win.
Jermaine, you wouldn't know from Steve Bruce's face just how seismic a victory this is. He didn't go running down the touchline. He didn't go sprinting towards the fans. He is just standing there, almost emotionless on his face. But inside, he must be going for hell for leather, because this is huge for him.
Yeah, of course it's huge. I just think if anybody really understands the task at hand that he has, the volatility of the football club that he is at, and the fact that it can change, tomorrow and the day after. This man really understands the football club. And as much as he'll be proud of his players and really be enjoying this famous win that he's managed to put together, obviously in the early stages of his Newcastle career, which is massive, he's got a calm and experienced head on his shoulders, and he knows it's a long road in terms of what is actually the job that he has been tasked with for the rest of the season. So look, it's a huge step in the right direction for himself, and they should thoroughly enjoy their bank holiday Sunday, because they deserve it.
Some of the messages we've been getting on 85058 about the penalty decision. Corin, what's going on? Another clear and obvious penalty not given by VAR. Tony, defender did a belly flop and tripped Kane, must be a pen. Andrew, I'm no Spurs fan, how is that not a penalty? Dave, I'm an Arsenal fan, and that was a nailed-on penalty. That would be given anywhere else on the pitch. This was the foul in inverted commas, Jermaine, on Harry Kane. Now, I know we've seen a lot of decisions where you thought, oh, maybe that'll get changed, and I know they don't want to referee the game twice. Of all the ones you've seen, is that the one that you're most surprised has not been changed, and in this case it would have been given a penalty?
Sorry, can you ask me that again? The crowd was absolutely pumping into my ears and I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
Usually people tell me I'm too loud. Yeah. So the penalty that Tottenham didn't get, we've seen quite a few examples of decisions not being overturned. Yeah. Is this the most surprising one you've seen?
I would say so. Yeah, I think it's been. What is surprising me is. I say not surprising me, I suppose, is the thing. I think what's happening here is there's been a huge directive between VAR and referees that they're going to back the referee's decision. So we haven't yet seen, I don't think, really one situation where a referee's gone, that's not a penalty, VAR's going to look at it and overturned it. And I think that's their way of saying, we're going to let you referee the game unless it's an absolute, unless he's tackled him round his neck. Now, I thought that was a shocker. I thought the one in the first half was a penalty from the angle that I had. I didn't think his first challenge he got Son, and the second challenge he got the ball. And that one there, you can clearly see that Jamal Lascelles has gone down because he's injured, but in doing so has panicked, threw his arm out and stopped Harry Kane being able to get the shot by throwing his body at his legs. The fact that VAR didn't look at that and say that that is a penalty does surprise me. I just think and I do think as the season goes on it will change. But just in the early stages of the season, as we always see when new rules come in, I just think it's VAR's way of going, we're just going to stand by a lot of the referees' decisions, and I just think Mike Dean got that one wrong. It happens.
And what about Harry Kane? I mean, you think of the first home game of the season against Villa, he didn't really seem to be involved for 85 minutes and then it all turned. Today he had that one chance right at the end. Do you think something's up with Harry Kane, or is it just a wider thing that something's up with Spurs?
I think it's a mix. I think if you look at all of the clubs, I suppose, in the top six, Spurs are one of those clubs where there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding their top players. So, Eriksen not starting the game today, Vertonghen not starting any games, I find strange. I really do. I don't think Davinson Sanchez is anywhere near the level of what Jan Vertonghen brings to the table. And I think in doing so, it's just obviously it's knocked off the balance of the way the team play, and I think if you add to that, I think if you're just going to be blunt about it, Harry Kane's been poor. He's not played well as yet. He's got his 2 goals, which kind of dispelled obviously the August situation, but the facts are, he's done nothing today. He didn't do much against City or Villa in terms of his general play, and that is something that is a worry, and something that I'm sure that the manager will be looking at.
Jermaine, Connor, thank you very much. What an incredible victory that is for Newcastle United, 1-0 winners at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's go to Molineux. Robin Cowan, you had some VAR controversy too.
We did indeed, yes. It's finished 1-1. The late show from Wolves. Credit to them, they were nowhere near their best. They kept on going. It's heartbreaking though for Burnley. They led for, I think, around 80 minutes. Ashley Barnes gave them the lead after 14 minutes, firing in his 4th of the season. A really confident strike on the half volley from the edge of the area. They had chances, Burnley, to increase their lead. Ben Mee hit the bar. Chris Wood had a couple of opportunities. They were ultimately punished for not taking them. In the 95th minute, Wolves were awarded a penalty. Eric Peters on Raul Jimenez. They both went for the ball. Craig Pawson gave it straight away. It was reviewed and they agreed with him, the guys at Stockley Park, and Raul Jimenez with a really cool, composed penalty to win his side a point in the final seconds of the game. It's finished Wolves 1, Burnley 1.